cannon there by St. Francis. They saw the issue there, and they jumped on it right away. 15 with a great tackle on that one.
Deshaun Womack, the LSU committee. He might have gotten hurt, though. He's holding his arm funny. Let's watch it again. So Tate gets wrapped up, and that's Womack who kind of got his arm rolled up on, I think, by Tate with a big play. So that's an LSU player taking that, a future Ohio State player there.
And in this weather, Scott, you've got to stay warm as possible because anything could happen as far as injuries.
Bradford out of the shotgun. Now he's going to send the backs out wide. He's got one back to his right, and he's got two receivers to his right. Back to pass. He's going to scramble or try to. He's going to get taken down to the line of scrimmage by Sam Green, the USC commit.
And Sam Green really filled the hole on that one. There was a brief opening for just a second, Scott, but it closed really quick. At this level of play, you don't have much time. And that was a great play there by the USC commit, as you just mentioned.
Well, you see why the Trojans are excited about him. Great play there, but you're right. Bradford thought he had an opening. It did not last long. And all four of these starters for St. Francis across the front are committed to Division I colleges right now. So that kind of tells you the talent they have. Bradford out of the shotgun.
3rd and 25 here.
On a 3rd and 25, and the back's not going to get very far. The ball carrier was Evan Dickens, who's a Coastal Carolina commit, and Isaiah Neal, the Pitt commit, takes him down.
And you really starting out the right way for St. Francis. You got them to go 15 yards back off a couple runs and a botched handoff. So, nevertheless, you couldn't have started out any better on the defensive end if you are the Panthers.
No doubt. Bailed out the special teams after that big return and didn't. IMG, the Ascenders, unable to do much of that field position. So, in to punt it should be Roman Levent, who's going to go to the University of Maryland, the left footer. Oh, he shanks it. And that's going to bounce at the 50, and it's going to be down at the 49-yard line. So, wow, St. Francis is basically going to start where IMG started, except on the IMG side of the field.
And that's why special teams are so integral in a game like this. With the weather being a factor, you're going to have to be aware and make sure two-down territory is in the back of your head when it's going to be hard to punt like this.
Yeah, I don't think the weather's like this in Bradenton right now, so this might be a little bit of adjustment tonight for our friends from Florida here. So we'll see how that ends up working out tonight. So we get to see the St. Francis offense for the first time. Michael Van Buren, we went through it in the open. I mean, everybody's recruiting him at this point. He's going to be in out of the shotgun. He's got trips to his right and one receiver to his left as they go left to right on your screen in the black jerseys and the black helmets and the yellow trim. Man in motion is Woodley. And instead it's a give, and not going very far is DeJuan Williams as Cam Leinhart came through and made the stop.
And he was shot out of a cannon. Leinhart, once he recognized the play, jumped on the running back right away, and you love to see it here.
I'll tell you
Quick and easy.
So far, both of these offensive lines have really been pushed around by these defensive lines, but there's so much talent on both these teams' D lines. Not surprising. So Michael Van Buren out of the shotgun on 2nd and 12. He's going to throw it out the far side. He's got his man. He catches it. It's Woodby, and he is able to get some of the yardage back and then some. Brings up a 3rd and about 5, it looks like. So pretty good pickup there on 2nd down after losing the yard on 1st down.
And it's going to be so crucial, Scott, to get these 3rd and 5s, these 3rd and 4s. In a game like this, you really don't have much room for error, so you've got to convert and make sure the 5 and 4 are manageable here on 3rd down for
Blake
Van
Woodby,
Buren.
the 5'11 junior who is a 4'4", 640 this season. He's got some wheels, and he's getting recruited by a lot of teams. We'll get through that later. A lot of schools looking at him. Van Buren now looks like he might be changing the play. He's got trips to his left, and again, one receiver to his right. And DeJuan Williams is alone back. 3rd down. Here comes the snap. Van Buren's going to roll to his right. He's going to throw that way. He's got a man down the field, and it's going to be overthrown, incomplete. A lot of contact between the two down there, but no call. And I think they were hoping for one, but not going to get it was Kyrie Benton.
And great coverage there by IMG Academy. As we see here on the replay, they go RPO on the look. It's a great ball, but just better defense there right at the end by IMG Academy.
Yeah, big-time play there on the defensive side from number 12, Ellis Robinson, the 4th, the junior, with really good coverage on Benton. So IMG will get another shot at getting the football back. Back to receive once again will be Tate, Carnell Tate, the Ohio State commit. The punter is Gadian McDonald. He gets one away pretty good, and Tate takes a fair catch at the 12-yard line. So that's where IMG will be business in their 2nd possession of the game.
And so far, Scott, we haven't really seen much from both of these offenses because you said earlier, both of the offensive lines and defensive lines really having some problems trying to get used to each other in these cold conditions.
Well, if you look at these two defensive lines, too, this is where all the commits are, right? Like both teams, between them, I think it's 6 to 7 players are committed to Division I schools. So we might have some time before these offenses get rolling tonight. So Van Buren out of the shotgun. He's got 2 receivers to his left. Here's the give, and that's going nowhere quickly. Is stacked up Nick Harris, and he loses yardage on that play. He's going to be marked down at the 9-yard line, so a loss of 4 on first down, or make that loss of 5 on first down.
And Evan Dickens never had a chance from the snap. As you can see back here, he knew he was getting the handoff, but he did not know he wouldn't have any time on that one. Dickens takes a tackle for a loss on that one.
All right, so make that a loss of 4, so 2nd and 14 coming up. With Jaden Bradford out of the shotgun once again. Nick Harris, the back, to his left. He's got a man in motion. Now he's going to have trips to his left. Quickly out with a screen pass. The bubble set up, but not getting very far was Tate, but he does get some of the yardage back as he's taken down by Farouk. Dreezy Farouk, as they call him. Drees is his real name, but he goes by Dreezy, and Dreezy with a big play there.
And St. Francis able to keep them in front now. A big play here on their own territory. Can the Panthers force another 3 and out?
So it's a 3rd and 5 as Jaden Bradford, again, out of the shotgun. Make that 3rd and 9 out of the shotgun. He's going to roll to his right. He's looking. Throwing downfield, got a man, but it's thrown behind him and incomplete. His intended receiver there, Jonathan Eccles, couldn't get the connection there, so he threw it a little behind.
And just a little miscommunication on that where from IMG. He steps out of the pocket, has a nice ball thrown, but as you said, was not able to make it connect, and it'll be another 3 and out here for IMG.
Now we see if Roman Levent can get a little bit more on this one. Last time out, obviously shanked the punt and put St. Francis in very good field position, but they were not able to take advantage of it. So back for St. Francis to return. A much better punt from Levent, and it's going to drop, and they're going to let it roll, and the man's going to move away from it, which is probably a good idea, as Benton doesn't want to get in trouble, and it's going to be really good field position, though, once again for St. Francis, as they're going to be at the 43-yard line of IMG's to start this drive.
And both of these teams really, as we said before, can't stress it enough, have a copious amount of players that are going to be playing on Saturdays at the next level. So it's going to be interesting to see how both of these teams respond with such great field position. But as we mentioned before, the conditions on the football field really going to have to be something we pay attention to.
No doubt, and out of the huddle from the sideline, quickly to the line of scrimmage. Got 2 backs to each side. Is Van Buren. Michael Van Buren out of the shotgun, the junior, asking for the snap. Now they're going to go back, maybe change the play. Here on the 1st and 10 on the IMG side of the field at the 43-yard line. And it looked like somebody moved before the snap. We got a flag on the play. I don't know if that was a delay or if that was a false start first. We'll see.
False start. Offense, number 24, 5-yard penalty. Play first down.
Even calling out to Juan Williams by number there, the running back. Got called for the false start.
And the first penalty we've seen thus far in this contest. But nevertheless, false start is going to be something they're going to have to get used to, especially, like we said, with the big man on the D-line for IMG.
Yeah, IMG's got, again, guys they rotate in that are also, some top players as well. I mean, Gabe Ayers, number 25, is a Georgia commit. He's out there right now at one of the end positions, and he's a rotational player on this team. That's how deep they are. Out of the shotgun, play action. Now he's got his man caught. It's Manning. He's up the field. He's got some room. He's in the 30, 25, 20. Pushed out of bounds right around the 15-yard line by Jarvis Lee. So a little quick hitter from Van Buren to Ryan Manning is a big play for the Panthers.
And that goes for about 45 yards on that one. Great recognition here. And it was a bubble screen, and he hits that second level, and he's really got some space there.
Yeah, down to the 15-yard line, so big pickup there on the second down player after moving back 5 yards. Here's the handoff. No play action, Van Buren rolling to his right. He's going to throw it away as he's under duress there. There was some good pass rush there from Jaden Wayne, the Miami commit.
And he was going step for step on that one, Scott. The Miami commit really did not want to let this quarterback get outside the pocket and set his feet, and he wasn't able to do that.
So 6:26 to go in a scoreless first quarter. St. Francis, though, deep in IMG territory. They second down from the 15-yard line. So from the 15, obviously, they can get a first down here before going goal to goal. DeJuan Williams, the lone back, to the right of Van Buren, who's in the shotgun. He's got trips to his right, one receiver to his left. Here's the snap, back to pass. Throwing up towards the end zone's got a man there, and just overthrown. Blake Woodby not able to bring it down. Woodby looked like he was looking in the wrong direction. A little bit of a chance to catch it with a one hand by the time he turned around.
And that was a beautiful ball from Van Buren, and that would be 6, but number 2, wasn't able to bring that one in.
And Blake Woodby, again, he's a speedster, but you can see he can run some good routes. And actually had the separation there, just wasn't quite ready for the football. So third down here, coming up 3rd and 10 with 2 receivers to each side. Van Buren on the shotgun and DeJuan Williams the lone back. Man goes in motion now to the near side is Woodby. Woodby once again on the right side. Quickly, they run a screen underneath, and it's caught. And it's DeJuan Williams for a touchdown. 15-yard touchdown pass from Van Buren to DeJuan Williams as St. Francis up 6-0.
And great presence of mind by Van Buren. He saw the pressure coming, but he waited for the delay and delivered a strike right here, and that's 6 on the board for St. Francis.
With that motion by Woodby, I think really confused the IMG defense. And man, what a great screen pass and execution there by the Panthers to get to the board 6-0.
And St. Francis strikes first in this big heavyweight battle between these two programs, but over the years they really have had some fair share of their own games, and in the last 2 meetings, St. Francis won 34-24 in 2021, and in 2019, St. Francis won 35-7.
Well, St. Francis is going for 2, so the offense stays out of the field, and Van Buren's going to go under center here. He's going to have a deep back behind him, make that 2 backs behind him. Now quickly we've got a timeout. Looks like the Panthers are going to call a timeout, something they didn't like about the formation. So we're going to take a timeout as well, as it's 6-0 St. Francis Academy on top of IMG Academy. You're watching the high school football game of the week here on Flow Sports. Back here, St. Francis is going for 2 here, already up 6-0. Scott Jackson and Marquez Davila with you, as it is a St. Francis touchdown just a moment ago. Now here's the 2-point play. Van Buren rolls to his left, throws it, he's got his man, and it's caught, and it's a touchdown, or a 2-point play, excuse me. Well executed there from Van Buren to Samuel Green.
And that was really executed there with the motion again, Scott, trying to throw off that IMG defense. They get an opening, and they find something they like on the flats.
Yeah, Samuel Green right out there in the flats. Van Buren, nice pass going across his body, rolling to his left. Well, he can throw it from every direction. No wonder all the colleges are in on him. And you see the St. Francis fans enjoying an 8-0 lead here. So St. Francis, after the 15-yard TD pass to DeJuan Williams, the 2-point play to Green.
And 8 makes it 8-0 on that one. Really, really executed offensively. The Panthers were able to switch it up. They did some run and they did some pass. And then you see with a little trickery there on the last 2 plays, Scott, they're able to really open up the playbook on a 2-point conversion. Called a timeout. Looks like it paid off. Now they're up 8-0 in this one.
No doubt. So getting ready for the kickoff. See if IMG can figure some things out offensively to keep pace with this St. Francis team that's off to a quick start here tonight on their second drive with a touchdown. And getting ready for the kick. And it's a low kick, or pops up and taken by the up man. Tate, he's got space at the 35. Oh, he trips himself up at the 41, but a good return. They got it to their best player. As you see there is Jayon Williams able to make the tackle, but Carnell Tate, that's the guy you want to have the ball if you're IMG Academy.
And we will be saying his name a lot more this evening, but he really is trying to get his feet wet here on the special teams unit. I'll be surprised to see if we don't see him break off a big one tonight.
Of course, tomorrow Ohio State plays Maryland here. A lot of Buckeye fans, I'm sure, will be in attendance. Maybe they'll let Carnell Tate stick around for the game. I don't know. All right, Jaden Bradford down 8-0. The Ascenders ball on their own 41-yard line. Bradford out of the shotgun, and he gives it to the near side. We've got a pretty good pickup. Oh, and a big pop there as Jared Gibson gets welcomed to the football game from Dreezy Farouk.
And we heard that one from here, Scott. Real laying down the pads right here, lowers his shoulder as you can see, and lays a boom at the end there, Dreezy does.
And that's Jared Gibson, the number 2 player in ESPN's rankings for 2024. And it's his first carry of the night, and boy, he felt that one. A 4-yard pickup, and he's staying in the game as Jaden Bradford, the junior, out of the shotgun. Gibson to his left. He's got 2 receivers to his right and 1 to his left. Back to pass. He's got Tate, and he catches it in traffic and gets brought down at the 41-yard line of St. Francis. So big pickup there from Bradford to Tate for a first down.
Great discipline there, and as we see on the replay, Scott, he was able to fit it in a perfect window, and that's how they got on that post route a nice opening, and it gets the first down.
Yeah, really well executed there, and you can see why Tate is going to the Buckeyes. Really well-run routes. Good hands, too, in traffic. Made a motion as Ricky Williams gives straight ahead to Gibson, who's got about a 9-yard pickup. He's taken down by Simeon Coleman, the linebacker, the middle linebacker for the Panthers with the tackle. And they're going to say move the chains. Now they're going to give a 10-yard pickup. Or no, they're moving, no, not the chain. Yeah, they're moving them all the way down. So 10-yard pickup for Gibson on his second carry of the game.
And IMG really looking to get back even on the scoreboard here after giving up 8 points early in the first. Rare to say, as IMG has been really dominating all their contests this year.
Jaden Bradford with Jared Gibson to his right. He's got trips to his left. Man in motion is Watkins Jr. And the give, and it's stacked up, going nowhere is Gibson as Isaiah Neal, the pit, come in, comes through the big tackle.
All 6'3", 260 of him right here, Scott. You could see he really penetrated through the line and was able to make the tackle for a short gain for IMG.
So IMG get pick up a yard. So the ball sits now at the 30-yard line of the Panthers of St. Francis. The Ascenders, Jaden Bradford out of the shotgun. Jared Gibson behind him. He's got 2 receivers to his right. His tight end, Riley Williams, the Miami commit, goes to his right. Play action, throws it to the near side to Tate. Tate's got a couple blockers. No, not real much there, but he was able to at least get it to 3rd and manageable now, as they're going to give him the 24-yard line. The line to gain is, it looks like the 20 and a half, really, but at the 20 we'll call it. So about 4 yards to go here on a 3rd and 4 next.
And Scott, you really see how they're opening up the playbook. Fake the run, and they go bubble screen on the left side to Tate. You'll love to see that early here if you're IMG.
Looks like for a moment those blocks may line up. A good pursuit and rallying to the football once again for the Panthers defense. They've been very active. Back to pass after the shotgun snap in traffic, and it's caught, and it's going to be right on the marker. And well done as Coleman has the tackle. And it's again Tate. Carnell Tate's been a busy man tonight. 6'2", 185-pound senior. So first and 10 at the 20 for the Ascenders.
And you said earlier, Scott, Tate has been a real integral part because of his big run on the kickoff. They have been driving down the field. IMG looking to score right here and get some points on the board.
Down 8-0. St. Francis with the lead. First-ranked Panthers in the country right now. Here in the national game of the week. And there is a little end and around to Watkins Jr., who throws it ahead of the quarterback, Bradford, and he's got room, and he's going to get pushed out of bounds the 5-yard line. Nice little razzle-dazzle wrinkle there from Billy Miller.
Right on cue there, they give themselves the IMG special on that one with a little end around, tossing it back to the quarterback. You love to see the trickery here, especially this late in the season. IMG threatening big time.
So first and goal, the goal from the 5. They're really opening the playbook here on this drive as Jaden Bradford Now is going to go under center. And he's got two backs behind. Fumbled the snap. Oh, Bradford falls on it. He's going to be at the 9-yard line.
And that's what you got to really think about if you're on that field, Scott. That D line really can come at you any moment. So I can see where there could be a little bit of mishaps here with fumbling and exchanging of the football.
So 2nd and goal now for the Ascenders at the 9-yard line. And see how they come out of the huddle. It's going to be Gibson. It's a lone back to the left of Bradford. He's got 3 receivers over here to the near side. One to the far. One to the far is Devin Hyatt, number 2. And over here, of course, always keep your eye on number 17, Carnell Tate. Well, for a moment, there might be a timeout call. There is. Billy Miller on the field calling the timeout. First-year coach was, of course, the special teams coordinator at IMG for a long time. And now he's bringing the team into the huddle.
And if you're the head coach for IMG, you really can't be disappointed with the rebuttal that this IMG team has after giving up an easy score, 8 points. Now they're making their own way to try to score and get in the end zone here, Scott. You
got to wonder, too, is this going to be a 4-down situation for them? You know, is it going to be dependent on if they get yardage here or are they going for the end zone? It'll be interesting to see what to do. Let's go to our sideline reporter for the first time tonight. Shane Connick is down on the field, hopefully staying warm. Shane? All right, well, we'll get back to Shane in a moment. We had a little, I think Shane is frozen, actually. Hopefully he's okay. We'll get to him in a bit. Scott Jackson, Marquez Davila with it. As we mentioned, Shane Connick will go to here momentarily down on the field for a report. He's obviously got the tougher assignment tonight. We're in the cushy, booth tonight. It's not too cold down there. A little colder. Got some conditions. All right, out of the timeout. Jaden Bradford out of the shotgun. He's got trips to his left, one receiver to the right. Back to pass, a little pass rush on him. It looks like he's going to have to throw it away. Incomplete. There's going to be a flag then. It's got to be a hold, right? It looked like the pass rusher, Carlton Smith, was being held up, number 42. He had some really good penetration there for the Panthers. We'll see what the referee tells us.
Take him back.
They say take him back.
Holding offense number 22. 10-yard penalty from the spot of that foul.
So Jarrett Gibson, the running back, gets called for the hold, trying to block the linebacker, Carlton Smith.
And I think IMG can live with that only for a brief moment. You're not going too far, but you didn't take a sack there, and the equivalent, you can still get to replay the down.
All right, so IMG, though, a long way to go here now to goal at 19. So they get to replay the down at least, as you said. But interesting tactic, obviously, for the Panthers to push it back. And why not? Because, again, from the 9, you could go for it there and potentially convert. So out of the huddle, Bradford's going to have 2 receivers split out wide. He's got his tight end to his left, and now they're going to shift him. That's going to be Williams over the shift, and Eccles. Here's the snap. He's got time. Throw it over the middle. He's got a man in traffic. Incomplete. He overthrows Eccles. And incomplete on the pass play there, trying to fit it into double coverage. Eccles a big, tall guy, 6'4". Let's take another look at it.
And you're going to be really, really upset here if you're the quarterback for IMG, because it was such a great opportunity there. Like you said, wide open he was, just couldn't connect with them, and they're going to wish they had that one back, Scott.
So Bradford a little high with the pass. Eccles gave it a pretty good effort. So 3rd down and goal to goal for the 19 now. Bradford's going to send out Tate to his right. Williams is over there as well. Riley Williams, the tight end, number 84. 2 receivers here on the near side, and the low back is Gibson. It's give to Gibson, and he's running into a wall. He's not going anywhere. Taken down. May have lost yardage. Now they're going to say they're going to give him the line of scrimmage. Deshaun Womack was the first man there, number 15. And let's see what they look like. They'll probably send out the field goal unit, I would imagine, or no, the offense is going to stay out there. Now take that back. The offense is going to stay out there. So 4th and goal from the 19.
And you really got to say here, Scott, it could be a win-lose here. you get all the way down here, you got to come with some points. But if you miss it, it's practically like if you punted and St. Francis would be deep in their own territory.
Yeah, and I don't know what the range they feel like is here tonight for Levant. So this is what they're going to do. They're going to go for it down 8-0. So you got to throw it the end zone here. 4th and goal to goal from the 19, and we're going to get another timeout on the field, I believe. So we get another timeout on the field. I think it's going to be St. Francis this time that's going to get the timeout. Let's go down to our sideline reporter, Shane Connick. Shane?
You know, they've beaten teams from 7 states and Canada this year, playing a real national schedule, not even having a home field at the school in Baltimore, but here at CQ Stadium in College Park, Maryland is going to become the home for St. Francis and some of its players as well, committed to this school, and a big crowd that is really into this thing right behind us over here at CQ Stadium in College Park.
All right, thank you, Shane. Yeah, they have taken over, haven't they? St. Francis, not too far of a drive from Baltimore, just down the road, and a good crowd here tonight, and they were here last week. So now the field goal unit does come on after all that. That's interesting. The decision now to bring out the field goal kicker, Roman Levant. No, now they're going to switch it. Oh, look like a little fire drill here, trying to confuse the Panthers. They send the offense back out. And Bradford out of the shotgun. 4th and goal to go for the 19. Got all kinds of time. He's looking. He's going to throw it, and it's going to be short of the end zone and caught, but stopped at the 1-yard line. And it's going to be turned over on downs, but I guess it's like a pooch punt in a sense, right?
Essentially there, you hate to see it get stopped right at the 1-yard line, Scott, but nevertheless, as I mentioned before that play took place, great footwork here and a great delivery right in a small, tight window here. Look at this. Could have been nearly intercepted, but it's caught. And I think IMG will live with that. They didn't get any points on the board, but they've got St. Francis backed all the way in their territory.
Yeah, they pinned him back. So Devin Hyatt makes a tough catch in traffic, but literally is a yard short. And now the St. Francis offense will come out backed up in their own end zone with an 8-point lead, 8-0. But yeah, interesting. I like the idea of putting the kicker out there and then rushing the offense back out. And the protection was very good for IMG on that play and for Bradford, but unable to get it over the goal line. So St. Francis really followed the principles of protecting that line and not letting him get over.
Well, that is a big win of their own. Let's see if they're able to get some yardage and get out of their own territory. One of the most difficult positions to be on the football field, Scott.
Good thing they've got Michael Van Buren. He's going to be under center this time. You don't see him under center often. He's got DeJuan Williams in the backfield, and then we've got a whistle.
Timeout, Panthers.
Timeout, Panthers. So maybe the Panthers want to get a look at what they were going to send out offensively and talk it over to see what's going on here. So we see, actually, that would have been Nick Harris that was in the backfield this time. So they'll run 3 backs. They've got Darrell Robinson, who's committed to Boston College. You've got DeJuan Williams, who is getting a lot of attention. We had the first touchdown of the game at number 20, Nick Harris, as well. So they've got some nice options, don't they?
And it's very nice when you have a plethora of options like both of these teams do, but especially in the backfield. You really can't come, and they're hard and few between when it comes to a great, solid running back. But a lot of teams nowadays, you see, they'll carry 1, 2, maybe even 3 running backs to switch up the pace.
Yeah, it keeps the guys fresh, and, you know, it's also not bad in a little competition, right? You see your teammate go out there and make a big play. You want to play, so you're going to come out and run a little hungrier, perhaps. So out of the timeout, Van Buren's going to go under center once again. The delay is the refs are holding the play up. Now we're going to get Van Buren on the ball. Again, Nick Harris is the deep back. And the give is to Harris, who runs into a brick wall, gets stood up. Whew, might have gotten the line of scrimmage. IMG's pushing it back in the end zone, but they're going to give him the line of scrimmage, and that's it.
And that is really a great job by that IMG D line. Plugging before he even gets out of the end zone. See, if you look back here, he gets maybe half a yard and then is absolutely trampled. by this IMG D line.
Yeah, Isaiah Williams was back there as the fullback, and they were not able to get a whole lot of space there for Nick Harris on that first down run. So 2nd and 10 coming up out of their own end zone. This time out of the shotgun, Van Buren with Harris as the lone back once again. Got 3 receivers to his right, 1 to his left, man in motion. And there's the give to Harris. This time he's got a little bit more space, pushes his way past the 5 up to the 6-yard line. So nice pickup there, 5 yards, bring up a 3rd and 5.
And St. Francis switching up the look there, going with an RPO type offense, and that really allowed them to get some yardage after getting nothing on their last play.
And that is going to be the end of the first quarter. So the last play of the first quarter, we'll switch sides. The Panthers on top 8-0 over the Ascenders here in College Park at CQ Stadium here at the University of Maryland. So the #1 team in high school football right now being challenged here early by IMG, but with the 8-0 lead.
And after they were able to get the 8-0 lead, St. Francis has really been doing great on defense, not allowing any any scores of any sort, as we certainly thought that IMG might be able to answer back after giving up 8 early.
Yeah, they got down there. That obviously the hold was a big deal and pushed them so far back that they were out of field goal range and had to go for it on that 4th down. But we'll see if IMG can get a stop here on 3rd down. This is a big field position swing potentially, right? If you stop them here, you're having them punting out of their own end zone or close to it versus, the drive continuing.
And as I mentioned before, Scott, this is not the first time these two teams have met. In 2021, St. Francis won 34-24. In 2019, St. Francis won 35-7. But it was not until 2016 IMG won 38-0. So it's been 6 years since IMG has been a victor in this matchup.
All right, out of the shotgun, Van Buren on a big 3rd down, gives it to Harris, who's going to get the 1st down and then some. Big run from Harris to get the 7+. Only needed 5. It looks like he got 7.
And what's the old saying, Scott? 3 yards in a cloud of dust. If you look at the replay here, he was able to hit that next level and turn those feet to get that next set of downs.
All right, so Van Buren again out of the gun. He's got 2 receivers to his left, 1 or 2 to his right. So he's got 4 wide and the low back is Harris. That calls for a man in motion. Out of the shotgun, back to pass, looking, got all kinds of time. He's going to throw and is just going to be off the fingertips of the intended receiver, Mason Beal. That's going to be incomplete. He's saying that's on me. See Van Buren unhappy with himself there. It's a little bit overthrown. So 2nd and 10 coming up.
And St. Francis can really get tricky here with the playbook. You got the lead. You only have 2nd down, but you could really decide to open up here deep in your own coverage.
That was actually Mekhi Workman, number 16, not number 18, that was the intended receiver. So 2nd down, 2 backs, 1 on each side. Play action. Van Buren, gets his pass tipped. It's in the air. Is it going to be picked? No, incomplete. Woo. That was dangerous as he was trying to get it to Workman.
And nearly picked off there, but by Jordan Hall, it was a miscommunication, and him and a teammate ran into each other. That's what prevented the pick, and IMG catches a break.
Yeah, and it was tipped to the line of scrimmage, which really, caused it to hang up there for a while. I thought potentially it could be picked, and boy, in that territory, that could have been the other way for 6. But 3rd down now, 3rd and 10, so some work to do for St. Francis as Van Buren is out of the shotgun. 2 receivers on each side, back to pass. He's got time, throws it out, got his man, and he's just going to get it. No, incomplete. He drops it. Wow, he had him open. Receiver unable to bring it in. Looked like it was Kyrie Benton, number 6.
And Scott, we see this a lot on all levels of football, even on the professional level. Receivers will run before they have possession of the ball, and that's really what jarred that ball out. And now they're 4th down.
So Caden McDonald in. He's not quite at his end zone, but his heels are just in front of the goal line, right, as he gets ready for the snap. And back to receive is Tate, Carnell Tate. Here's the punt off the right footer. Tate's going to call for the fair catch at the 43, 44-yard line. So really good field position for IMG. They'll start in Panther territory on this drive, trying to get back in this game down 8-0.
And IMG's got to have a short-term memory. You make it all the way to the goal line on the 1, not being able to punch it in. I know that hurts, but you really got to shake that off against the #1 team in the country and try to rebuttal here with great field position.
Yeah, really good field position coming up as we get a look at the St. Francis sideline. And here comes the IMG offense, led by quarterback Jaden Bradford, number 4, the junior. Number 4, the junior. The lone back to his right is Jarek Gibson. And here's the snap. Back to pass, Bradford. Over here on the near side, and it's up and caught, pulled in by who else? Carnell Tate. He's been all over the place tonight. Nice pickup on first down.
And an even better ball. Nice catch, but a better ball there as it was perfectly placed on the outside corner. No one else could have got that but Tate. You love to see that if you're IMG.
So second down, and they're going to make it about a 6-yard pickup. So 2nd and 4 we'll call it.
2nd down and 4.
Backs on each side. Evan Dickens and Jarek Gibson. Now Dickens goes in motion, handoff to Gibson. He's got a hole. He's got the 30, 25. He's going to get to about the 25, and that's where it's going to be. But nice run as Sam Green takes him down. But a really good pickup on 2nd down to give them a 1st down as the drive continues for the Ascenders.
Scott, on this run here, a really great block by 73 Lozawicki. That's what allowed that hole to open up and for the running back to get so many yards on that carry.
So 25-yard line of St. Francis is where the IMG Academy Ascenders are right now, the offense. And it's Dickens, the lone back, to the right of Braden, handed it to him. Bradford, rather. And it is Dickens who busts through, and he's going to get to the 19-yard line. Pickup of 6 yards there on first down. Carlton Smith takes him down. So 2nd and 4 coming up.
And IMG getting a couple yards each play. If you get 4 yards a play by 3rd down, it'll already be 1st down. So IMG doing exactly what they can and taking what St. Francis gives them.
So they're going to call it 2nd and 4. Again, Dickens, the lone back. He's a Coastal Carolina commit, number 20. He was just on the carry a moment ago. Watkins Jr. in motion. Here's the snap. Bradford back to pass. Got his man underneath, and it's caught. Turns the corner. And out of bounds at the 8-yard line. And once again, no, this time, excuse me, it's Olukbade with the reception. Donovan Olukbade, his first catch of the game, number 11.
And he runs a simple dig over the top and is able to get that big chunk of yardage there because of Tate being so deadly out in the open field.
Yeah, the sophomore is 6'2", so he's a big target as well. St. Francis with a lot of options here. So Olukbade goes to the right in the bunch over with Watkins and Tate. And Dickens remains a lone back. Play action for Bradford. He's got his man in the flat, and it's Watkins. He catches it, makes a cut, and gets to the end zone. Did he make it? Yes. Touchdown, IMG Academy. Now will they go for 2?
And great setup there by IMG Academy. He's really using all the weapons he has on the offensive side. We've said Olukbade, we said Tate. And look at this play here off the play action. Real easy, nice and smooth. And Winston Watkins Jr. gets in for 6.
So Winston Watkins Jr. with a TD reception from Jaden Bradford, junior to junior. And they're going to kick the extra point. They're going to not chase the 2 this early as Roman Levant is out, the left-footed kicker. And the spots down kick is up, and it's good. And again, Levant going to be a Terp here in the near future, so good to see he likes the goalpost here. He splits the uprights.
And IMG really doing a great job getting another opportunity and putting some points on the board. As I mentioned, gets all the way to the 1-yard line, Scott. Couldn't punch it in, but with their second opportunity at pay dirt, they're able to convert.
Yeah, no doubt. 8-7 game now, so Watkins Jr. with the touchdown from Bradford. Gets IMG back in a much better spot here, but good response from them, obviously, after being stopped, as you mentioned, on the 1. And look, they won the field position game. I mean, really, that 4th down play that's an 18-yard play when you need 19 ended up working out pretty well for them. It was like pinning a team back on a punt.
IMG playing chess, not checkers here early, Scott.
They're able to flip the field position. Well, I mean, your head coach is a special teams coach. They understand those kind of things. As Levant's getting ready to tee it up. See who's back deep for St. Francis. You've got DeJuan Williams, number 24, and I think that's number 12, Jayon Williams as well. So Williams and Williams back to receive. sorry, that's Vaughn's. Rochelle Vaughn's back 14, not 12. So, yep, the ball fell off the tee. It's going to happen out here tonight. It's cold.
I mean, it's that time of year, Scott. You got football in the middle of November, Thanksgiving next week. So the cold came right at the perfect time.
No doubt, no doubt. So here we go. Second attempt at it. And Levant's going to give it a boom. Low, end over end. It's going to go through the end zone, though, on the bounce. So well done. Don't have to worry about a return that way. And it's a touchback at St. Francis. We'll see how they respond after giving up their first points tonight.
And, Scott, I don't think I've ever seen a knuckleball like that from off the kicker's foot. That didn't have much air, but it really did travel with a lot of hang time there. That was a great kickoff, and now they have to go 80 yards the other way.
So out of the huddle, Michael Van Buren off the sideline. Looks like it'll be DeJuan Williams and also Darrell Robinson in the backfield. And receivers, two receivers to the near side and one to the far, as the Panthers are going right to left on your screen in the black and the yellow trim. IMG Academy, see if their defense gets some juice after their offense was able to get on the board. Here's the snap. Van Buren looked like one who play. Actually, he's got all kinds of time. He's loading up deep. His man pushes off, but he can't get the reception. Got a little separation there for a minute, but unable to get to the football. I think that was Blake Woodby, number 2.
And Desmond
speedster.
Ricks on the coverage, Scott, who was not able to get back on defense. A beautiful ball, just a little bit too much on that one. That could have been 6 the other way, but Ricks really gets beat on this thanks to the delay by the quarterback. And he had a lot of real estate in him.
He sure did. He had some real estate there. So Ricks, who is a number 17 in the top 300 of his class, and you can see why. All right, so Van Buren's got 2 receivers to his left, 2 to his right as they go 4 wide, 1 back to his right. Michael Van Buren out of the shotgun, takes a snap here on 2nd and 10. Throws out to the far side, catch made there and pushed out of bounds. Big hit after Blake Woodby got taken down. Woodby shaking it off. But he took a big shot there. They're going to say a pickup of about 7 yards, so it's going to bring him a 3rd and 3. Let's take another look at it. And bam, look at the laying the lumber there was Gabe Harris, the Georgia commit. The Bulldog making that play. Pass rush is there, but Van Buren gets it out here to the near side. Receiver is not going to get to the yard to gain, though. That's Ryan Manning, who was caught up about 2 yards shy of the first down. So 4th down coming up. And is there a decision to be made here, or the punt team's coming out?
And Van Buren not able to get exactly where he wanted to get it, but he sure does throw a fast and an accurate ball. He gets it out quick there, but
Leinhart was on him, yeah. Cam Leinhart was on him quick, wasn't he?
Right you are, Scott.
All right, back to receive. Once again is Carnell Tate. He's been all over the field tonight. Getting ready for the punt from Kadia McDonald. There's the snap. McDonald kicks it here to the near side, and this is going to be unreturnable, and it's going to be downed at the 41-yard line as number 33, Bryce Dees, is there to make sure that Tate doesn't pick it up. Good field position again for IMG, trailing just by a point.
Well,
They'll start their own 41.
The big question everybody wanted to know, Scott, was how will both of these teams come out? And we've seen a little bit of both offenses thus far, only 15 points from the 2, so it's really been a defensive battle thus far.
There's so much talent on both sides of the ball, but in particular on the 2 defensive lines. So, we've seen, these defensive lines do a good job in different spots tonight, and obviously that last play, it was a big pass rush that kind of got Van Buren off his spot a little bit. Here's the play action. Bradford rolling to his right, and he just got to throw it away. There's nothing he can do with it except throw it away. As he had some heat on him. Is that Sam Green? No, I'm sorry. That's number 44, Simeon Coleman, with the pass rush, number 44.
And he was on like white on rice on this play. Doesn't have any time, but gets it away. Doesn't take the sack. So that's the presence of mind there by the young junior.
Now, 2 junior quarterbacks that are obviously getting a lot of attention. Bradford 37th in the class of 2024, and Van Buren depending on whose list you're going off of, is probably number 1. All right, out of the shotgun, Bradford. Bad snap. He's running for his life. Then he's going to get swallowed up after a loss of 4. Pick a player with Sam Green, the first one in there. The USC commit getting pulled up by his teammate. Let's look at this again. This is blown up by Womack, and then Green cleans it up. So Womack on the outside, Deshaun Womack, who's going to LSU, number 15, and then runs into the USC commit, Green.
Just a lot of colleges here involved. A lot of investments here on the field. These players will be playing on Saturday, like I said, a copious amount. Too many to count for all these players on the field.
Yeah, and you had also, you got out there, you got Isaiah Neal's going to Pitt. You got Brian Sims, the third, who's going to Cincinnati. All right, now the shotgun, a big third down, 3rd and 13. Bradford back to pass. Can throw it over the middle, through the receiver's hands. Williams, his tight end, drops it. Riley Williams couldn't pull it in. And he would have been well short anyway. He had a lot of ground to make up. So 4th down, and that was a good response from St. Francis' defense there after giving up the touchdown on the last drive.
And St. Francis going to get the ball with great field position, pinning this punt right here. But nevertheless, as you mentioned, Scott, great stand and a 3 and out here for IMG.
Levant gets a pretty good foot into it, and fair catch is signaled for and caught, and that's Kyrie Benton that runs underneath it. So Panthers football in their own territory. Going to mark it at the 32-yard line. So Michael Van Buren in the offense with an 8-7 lead. Feels like both of these teams have had a lot of possessions at this point. I mean, it's been a lot of back and forth, and a lot of good defensive stands.
I mean, I don't think anybody doubted that for 1 second, Scott. With the amount of talent in between the trenches for both teams, this is really going to be an all nail-biter coming down to the end.
2 receivers to the right of Van Buren. He's got 2 backs on each side. That's DeJuan Williams and also Nick Harris back there. If he's changing the play, he's got a receiver to the near side as well. Get 7:42 to go here in this first half. It is 8-7 St. Francis. I think it could delay a game. I think Van Buren took too much time. They were trying to change the plays a couple times and just ran out of time.
And something we haven't really talked about, Scott, both of these junior quarterbacks really do have an advantage that some stadiums don't have the play clock. You have access to that play clock, so really shouldn't be, the mistakes should be kept to a minimum when it comes to delay a game.
Yeah, no doubt. You can see him really well here. So Robinson now comes in. Jarrell Robinson is in the backfield with DeJuan Williams. And another penalty is a false start this time on the offensive line. Oh, my goodness.
So back-to-back penalties for the number 1 team in the country. You hate to see it if you are the St. Francis faithful.
No doubt. I'm sure head coach Masai Haile Mariam not too pleased with that. So that's going to be a delay game, then a false start. So it's a 1st and 20. Or excuse me, makes it 2nd and 20. No, it is a 1st and 20. They just changed the scoreboard. Man in motion behind Van Buren. He gives it straight ahead, and it's pushing forward and not going very far. It's going to be Robinson. Maybe gets 3 yards on it as Gabe Harris, the the Georgia commit, with a big tackle.
And Harris plugged up the lane really quickly here. You go safe on first down if you're St. Francis after getting 2 big penalties to drop you back a couple yards.
Van Buren again in the shotgun. He's going to have trips to his right here on what is a 2nd and 17. Now man comes in motion across the formation. Snaps low, but he gets it. Back to pass. Going to set that screen up again. They scored earlier for him, but this time they're all over it. Look at IMG, the Ascenders, jumping all over Robinson. He had nowhere to go. Yeah, they lose yardage.
They really ascended to the ball carrier on that one. Once they saw it was a screen pass, IMG really made their mark. And now, 3rd and long, as I mentioned before, this is a situation you don't want to constantly be in.
Yeah, 3rd and 18. I don't know what you have on the play sheet for this, but we'll find out, I guess, here in a second. 3rd and 18, trips to the left of Michael Van Buren. The lone back is going to be DeJuan Williams. Van Buren looking to the sideline. Now we've got whistles. They're getting a timeout for IMG, so IMG is going to burn a timeout. So Ascenders burn a timeout. We'll take a timeout as well. 8-7. St. Francis on top of IMG Academy. It is the national game of the week here on Flow Sports. right, 3rd and 18 coming up here for St. Francis, leading 8-7 here in the second quarter play, 6:32 to go. Here's the snap, and under pressure, Van Buren's going to be dropped, and dropped quickly as he is swarmed. Jordan Hall was the first one there. Michigan State commit middle linebacker just got through and swallowed him up.
And Hall really jumped, didn't feel for the play action, and absolutely throws this guy all the way back. So it was a team effort from Hall and Lenhart on that one.
Yeah, Lenhart cleaned it up after Hall did most of the damage. And now Caden McDonald comes in to punt, just standing on his 5-yard line. So a real good opportunity here for Carnell Tate on the return for IMG. Snaps there, just getting it away. It's a short punt. It's really not going far. It's going to settle at the 34-yard line. So excellent field position coming up for the IMG Academy Ascenders, trailing 8-7.
And we have seen it once or twice. Both teams on special teams haven't been able to execute on 4th down, which may lead to another score, which we've only seen 2 thus far.
All right, so Jaden Bradford, quarterback for IMG, coming out of the huddle from the sideline. Trailing 8-7, but at the 34-yard line, and there's 5:43 left in this game. As we look again at the series history, St. Francis has won the last 2 in this matchup after IMG took the first one in 2016. Here's Bradford loading up deep. He's got a man in the end zone. Caught, and it is a touchdown. And who else but Carnell Tate, the Ohio State commit. The day before the Buckeyes will be on this field getting it done.
And, Scott, we really got to look at the replay here. This was an absolutely beautiful dot here by by Bradford. Really find his man, and he walked for 6. That was absolutely spectacular.
He got behind the defense, and Bradford, he wasn't underthrown anybody on this one. What a great throw and great catch. As you see, Carnell Tate enjoying it, the 6'2", 185-pound senior. And we'll wait for the extra point as Roman Levant is on, the Maryland commit, kicking in his future stadium. Snap there, hold there, and the kick is up, and the kick is good. So it's a 14-8 lead now for IMG Academy.
And just imagine if you're head coach Ryan Day for the Buckeyes, you're about to get a star-studded receiver in Tate. You already have Marvin Harrison Jr. and Jackson Smith and Jigba. They just reload every other time they get an opportunity.
No kidding. I mean, they put so many receivers in the NFL over these last several years, too. Of course, right here down the road, the Washington Commanders, Terry McLaurin has been tremendous. And, boy, you're right. I mean, just talk about reloading Ohio State year in and year out as they are able to do it. So a 34-yard TD reception. So Bradford with 2 touchdown passes. The first one was to Watkins Jr., Winston Watkins Jr., now to Carnell Tate. And you can see IMG, they may not have the fans here, but they're pretty pumped up on that sideline, getting themselves going here with this 14-8 lead now.
A couple others we didn't talk about, Scott. In the first round just this year, Garrett Wilson goes in the first round, and also
Chris Olave
to the Saints, yes.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, they're just loaded. And as you mentioned, it's funny you mentioned Marvin Harrison Jr. I was just having a conversation with another Buckeye, Sean Springs, who played with the Washington Redskins and the Seattle Seahawks, among others. And he was saying he thinks Marvin Harrison Jr. would be one of the best receivers in the NFL right now. That's how high they are at him in Buckeye land. So
wow,
he'll be here tomorrow, I'm sure, terrorizing the Maryland secondary. So here's the kickoff from Levant. And it's a deep one, and they're not going to be able to return it. And it will be at the 20-yard line where Michael Van Buren and this Panthers offense now has a chance, a little adversity here, right? First deficit, a 14-8 game. See how they respond.
I mean, if you are not familiar with this IMG team, they really have put up some points. Just anytime you really see them on TV, ESPN, you always hear about IMG, so they will not go away quietly. On the other hand, St. Francis, being the #1 team in all the land, they've got to establish and protect their home field here and try to get a score. All
right, trips to Van Buren's right. He's got a receiver here on the near side. With 5:36 to go here in this first half, St. Francis trailing for the first time. Back to pass. He's got a little time. He's loading up deep. He's got a man out here in double coverage. He's going to be overthrown, though, and that's going to be an incomplete ball as he was trying to hit Ryan Manning on the deep shot. But he was covered very well. You got 23 over there and Ricks. So you got Desmond Ricks along with the safety, Jordan Johnson Rubel rather. Did not fool the secondary of IMG.
And they really played that one close to the chest. As you said, double coverage there. Van Buren's got to be careful not to give another one of those looks because that could easily be 6 the other way.
Right, so Van Buren again out of the shotgun. Same look with the trips through his right now. Man comes in motion behind him. And the give is straight ahead. Here's a hole, too, for the back. And he's going to get to the 25-yard line as they pull up Nick Harris after that pickup. And that's going to be Samuel Impemba, who we talked about in the open with the play there.
We call his name for the first time this evening. And Pemba gets back in there in the mix, and now they know who he is.
3rd and 5 as we're coming up on the 5-minute mark here left in this first half. Trips bunching up. Now man comes in motion. Here's the straight ahead give to Harris again. This time stripped through a tackle, but is he going to get the line to gain? I think he just is going to be about a yard short as David Stone wrapped him up, number 90, the big guy.
And they're going to be just short. We just saw the referee give that. So
what do they do here? Do you go for it? It doesn't look like the offense is staying on the field. They're going to hurry up and get to the line of scrimmage, it looks like.
Let's see if they try to bait them here and force a timeout or get them a jump.
So Harris remains in the backfield. Asking for the quick snap now. I think you're right. I think they might be just trying to get him the jump. And there's 15 on the clock now. Van Buren is going to step back. Calling it a 4th and 1, and he takes it. He's going to run the play with the heat on and throws it, and it's caught for the first down as Blake Woodby makes the catch. Woo!
What an absolute dart there to Woodby, and really the guts to go for it deep back in your own territory behind the 50 against this IMG team who has a 14-8 lead.
Coach Hiley Merritt with the first real big gutsy call of the night on either one of these staffs there. And it pays off. Van Buren under pressure, rolling to his right. He's going to throw it away, incomplete. So 2nd down and 10 coming up with 3:46 to go in this first half. And IMG Academy with a 14-8 lead.
And you really like the poise there from Van Buren. Takes a couple steps outside the pocket, doesn't see anything he likes, and he just throws it right to the feet of the closest receiver, rather. And both of these quarterbacks really look poised in a big-time matchup like tonight's guy.
No doubt. And you can understand why the coach would have to trust in a guy like Michael Van Buren, the junior who's been so good for him, why he would go for it there in his own territory and let him throw it on a 4th and 1, and again getting it to Woodby, who has been a real big target here tonight. All right, now Woodby in motion. Now they're going to have 2 receivers on each side. Here's the snap for Van Buren on the 2nd and 10. Here comes the pass rush. That's that screen play again, but this time swallowed up once again. Jordan Hall. You fooled him once, but you haven't fooled him since. DeJuan Williams scored a 15-yard touchdown to get the scoring going, but ever since then, that play has been covered well.
And really going back to the playbook there is St. Francis. They tried to run a play that, as you mentioned, Scott, they already tried and had success with, but Hall saying not today and only minimal coverage or minimal gain on that play.
So 3rd and 9 from their own 34-yard line for St. Francis now. 3 minutes, 14 seconds. Clock is moving here in this first half of play, but a fast-moving first half for that matter. Van Buren clapped his hands, kind of a dummy signal. Now he looks back at the sideline. 8 seconds in the game clock or the play clock. He's going to need to hurry to get this snap off. They get it off just in time. He's got pressure on him. He's going to step ahead. He's going to scramble for it. Can he get there? And he is. He keeps his feet first down and then some.
And Scott, what I really want to know is how Van Buren saw the defensive end on the other side, turned with his back, able to elude the pressure. That's a special young individual right there. Van Buren really getting the play done with his legs.
I mean, IMG had a really good pass rush on that time. Looked like that play was blown up from the start, and that is all on Michael Van Buren making that play happen. And 1st and 10 now at their own 47-yard line. With 2:48 to go in this first half, trailing 14-8. Panthers and Van Buren back to pass into coverage, picked off, and that's going to be picked off by number 12 Ellis Robinson IV.
And Robinson IV really stayed home on that one. That was one of the few bad balls that we've seen from Van Buren. He threw it right to Robinson, and that leads to a turnover. IMG now, right before the half, can get a big score and take momentum in there.
No doubt. 2:40 to go here in this first half. IMG has got great field position. Just shy of the 50-yard line is where they're going to mark down Ellis Robinson Jr. I mean, it almost looked like he was the intended receiver to drive home your point there, Marquez, because he turned around and it's coming to him and he's coming back for it. So it is going to be, they're going to mark him, at the 42-yard line. So 58 yards to go, 2 minutes and almost 40 seconds. They've got plenty of time here with this offense.
See if IMG can capitalize here on the turnover and get some points back up on the board, insurance points before the half.
Bradford bench snap, the ball's up in the air, it's loose, and St. Francis is going to fall on it and run with it. You got to be kidding me. What in the world just happened? Who's going to come up with a football for St. Francis? And that's Womack. Deshaun Womack, the LSU commit. That ball was a weird snap, popped up and stayed in the air. Let's get another look at it.
It bounced
up perfectly to Womack, and he just started running like an offensive player.
And Womack really is a special individual here. He was able to get that and go the other way. We've said his name a lot this evening, Scott, but who would have thought in a national game of the week, top 10 teams in the country, we'd see back-to-back turnovers like that?
That's crazy. So 1st and 10 now for the Panthers at the 32-yard line of the Ascenders. So St. Francis with 2:31 to go in this first half with a chance to either take the lead or tie it up if they can get in the end zone. Of course, a touchdown would even it at 14, then the extra point, they could go ahead. See what they do. Out of the shotgun. 2 receivers to his left. Van Buren gives it ahead. And that's Williams with a strong run. DeJuan Williams. Make that Nick Harris, number 20. With a big pickup of about 7 yards.
And I was waiting to see how St. Francis would respond after that. Would they throw another pass after throwing an interception? They go to the run. They get their running back some time. And now we'll see what they open up here on 2nd and short.
So Nick Harris got the game there. Now Darrell Robinson is in the game, the other back, here on a 2nd and 2. So that was an 8-yard pickup by Nick Harris. And now we got a whistle. We got a timeout. IMG didn't like something, and they called timeout. The Ascenders are going to burn a timeout with 1:57 to go here in this first half. And we'll take a timeout as well. You're watching the National Game of the Week in Flow Sports. Back here at CQ Stadium, College Park, Maryland, University of Maryland, St. Francis Academy, number 1 team in the land, taking on IMG Academy. It's a 2nd and 2 with 1:57 to go in the first half for the Panthers as they are in IMG territory. Michael Van Buren back to pass. He's going to his man on the near side, and it's caught. And a flag on the play. We'll see what the call is, but it's caught by Ryan Manning. What a terrific catch. Little back shoulder underthrow, and it's a defensive pass interference on Desmond Ricks.
Half the distance.
Could not have said it any better. That is a high-level throw
Pass
there,
interference.
back shoulder.
Defense. That penalty would be half the distance. First down.
Well, maybe they didn't call it a reception because they're taking the penalty instead. It's interesting.
But the presence of mind
What a
from
great
Manning and the on-point precision accuracy there by Van Buren. I mean, that's just too bad it wasn't counted for a play because that was excellent.
It was beautiful. I thought it was. So 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line for the Panthers. Van Buren with Darrell Robinson in the backfield. The gift to Robinson straight ahead. He's going to get stacked up. He's going nowhere. Maybe got a yard. And that is it. Boy, oh boy. You saw Jordan Hall, Michigan State future linebacker, just come through and blow that thing up.
And we've said his name a copious amount of times. He is really a ball player on that back end there for IMG. He seems to be in the backfield almost every other play that we call.
No doubt. He's been a real presence. They're really letting him loose. All right, here we go. 2nd and 10 as the clock moves. It's at 1:18 left in this first half. St. Francis Obviously, like to stick one here in the end zone before the end of the half. Play action. Van Buren rolling. He's got a little pressure. He's going to stop. He's going to throw. Into coverage. Picked off. Uh-oh. Coming the other way. This could be trouble as it's Rubel. Johnson Rubel's going the distance. No flags in the field. 30, 20, 10, and a touchdown. Wow. For the IMG Academy Ascenders right before half with 54 seconds to go. What a turn of events.
And just great coverage there by number 23, Jordan Johnson Rubble, the junior, jumps the pass perfectly. The play was there, Scott, but we see the third turnover of the second quarter. This one goes for 6.
I mean, what a pick in return. Was it 98 yards? I don't know if the official would be there because of the 2 or the 1. It was close to it.
99 yards. Is that the 1 yard line?
Is it the 1? Let's get another look at it. Wow. So 99 yards, and it might have been a little bit further up. I don't know what they'll give him officially, but either way, what a terrific ball hog move by the strong safety of the Ascenders. And, boy, there was nothing but daylight.
And IMG really asserting its dominance here. They're going up now 20-8, pending an extra point, 21-8 right before the half. And a play like this right before the half just really sucks the life out of you, no matter who you are. If you're number 1 or number 20, that's just, you hate to see it if you're St. Francis.
No doubt. I mean, they're thinking about taking the lead going into half. Next thing you know, it's a 2-score deficit. What a momentum swinging kind of play. I'm not sure what we're waiting on. I guess the football. That's kind of important. For a kick, especially. You know, it's hard to do without them. So 54 seconds is the game clock officially right now left in this first half. And on to kick the extra point is Roman Levant, and he is going to miss this one. First miss of the night for Levant. So that makes it a 20-8 game right now.
Still 2 possessions, but as I mentioned before, the damage has been done, Scott. After moving all the way over there, you get the fumble, you get to the 1 after the pass interference, and then you give up a 98-yard interception, a pick 6 the other way. How do you come back or rebound from something that happened like that?
Yeah, we're going to obviously get to find out what kind of response we get here from the top team in the country, St. Francis, and obviously field position may dictate how they handle these last 54 ticks or so of this first half. But wow, Michael Van Buren picked twice in the last 2 possessions as well.
And that's what happens when iron meets iron. You know anything could happen, and they've been able to lock in on Van Buren, see where he likes to go, and that's what makes this IMG Ascenders team so dangerous, Scott. If I'm St. Francis, I'm just taking a couple runs and going into the half and trying to talk about where we can get better instead of trying to put some more points on the board.
Well, we'll see how Levant kicked it through the end zone the last couple times. He's really taken any drama out of a return. See how he does it this time. Obviously, St. Francis would love to be able to break one. Get some of this deficit cut in half here, down 20-8. Officially 54 seconds left on the scoreboard here in the first half. All right, the left-footed kicker, Roman Levant, University of Maryland commit, will kick it from the 40-yard line. Going to kick it deep again, but I think it's returnable, and it is. Circling under it at the 5 to the 10, 15, 20, and taken down to the 25-yard line was number 12, Jayon Williams.
And now the Panthers taking over here, but let's see what they decide to do. As we talked about earlier, Scott, will they just go into the half down these 2 scores? We talked about earlier, we only saw 2 scores in the first quarter. Now we see 2 scores within 10 minutes in this quarter, in quarter number 2.
So Van Buren coming out from the sideline. He'll have Darrell Robinson in the backfield with him. They got trips here to the near side. Let's see if they let him loose. I mean, at some point you have to put the ball in the air again, but obviously want to be a lot more careful with it than he has last 2 drives. Back to pass Van Buren. Oh, he's swallowed up and sacked. He is sacked by number 18, Jaden Wayne, the Miami commit.
And Wayne shot out of a cannon. They decide to go back to the passing game, but certainly after a sack of this magnitude, you can't do that twice in a row.
Woo! Wayne knocks him back all the way to the 15-yard line, so a loss of 10, 2nd and 25. Clock's moving, though. 22 seconds, now 20 seconds to go in this first half.
And they might just run this one out after that sack. You can't take any more hits on Van Buren.
Yeah.
And it looks like that's what they're going to do.
They don't have to run another play. No, they haven't started the play clock. So St. Francis can go to the locker room here down 20-8 and try to lick their wounds and make some adjustments. And that's what they're going to do. So we are at the end of the first half. And IMG Academy, the Ascenders, lead at 20-8 over the St. Francis Academy Panthers. Been a wild first half here in College Park, Maryland, at the University of Maryland tonight here on the National Game of the Week. We will take a timeout as well. You're watching high school football action here on Flow Sports. Welcome back to CQ Stadium here at the University of Maryland, College Park. Scott Jackson and Marquez Davila as we get ready for the second half. And it has been a big start for the visitors from IMG Academy here. Marquez, as they have kind of shocked St. Francis here in this first half, I'd say. Got a pick six, obviously, when St. Francis is driving the ball deep and have this 12-point lead.
And in a title, or not in a title fight, in a big fight like this where you have these two juggernauts going against each other, you really expect to see a couple turnovers here and there, and we saw that, but we also saw execution on points off turnovers, and I think that's the reason why this IMG team leads big against the number one team in all of the country.
No doubt. National game of the week. We've had a couple touchdown passes from quarterback Jaden Bradford in this one as well. And again, the defensive touchdown, the big return right before the end of half from Jordan Johnson, Rubel. 98 yards, unofficially, we're going to call it 98, that he took it back as it looked like St. Francis was going to have a chance to go up, in that before half with an extra point, and then boom, suddenly it's the other way, and it's a two-score game in favor of the guys from Bradenton, Florida.
So with that being said, Scott, we really have to monitor how St. Francis comes out of the half after giving up a big score like that, and now down 2 possessions in a big game that is looking in IMG's favor.
All right, so IMG getting ready to kick it off as the teams are back out on the field, start this second half, and Roman Levant, the kicker for IMG, left footer, is a Maryland commit, so he's kicking on his soon-to-be home field.
You'd love to see it.
It's really cool. It is, and of course, one of the big players here today has been Carnell Tate for IMG, whose team, Ohio State, will be playing here tomorrow. So here comes Levant with the kick, and it's a short pop kick, and signaling for the fair catch and under it, dropping, and the ball is still live, and it's recovered by IMG. Did the refs pull the whistle, though? Of course, this is high school football. We're not going to get well, it sure felt like there was a whistle blown, but unbelievable. The Ascenders get the football as it is muffed by Isaiah Neal.
And we just talked about how big it will be for them to start this second half. You start off with a turnover off a pooch kick, off the kickoff, and now IMG in perfect field position. Let's watch this one again.
Boy, Levant, what a talent, right? I mean, he's a kickoff guy, he's a punter, and just a little casual from Isaiah Neal. He's a defensive lineman. He's not normally touching the ball, but boy, oh boy, what a break there, a bad break.
And something else we talked about earlier, Scott, special teams. This is the 3rd or 4th blender we may have seen on the special teams unit, so really playing a big part in the success.
Wait a minute. We got something going on here. The referees now are bringing the offense off the field. I think we're getting a re-kick here. It sure sounded like we got a whistle early on that, like it was almost like a neighborhood play in baseball. Like they just called it, blew it, and I think now the officials are saying, we messed that up, so we're going to have to replay it. And if you're IMG, you got to be livid.
I mean, we saw.
You got to be livid if you're IMG.
We saw everything come to fruition on that play. The fumble we thought was a fair catch, and then the whistle goes, but no explanation from the referee. So now someone's got to say something so we can know what's going on.
So the officials are talking, obviously, right now to the head coach, Billy Miller of IMG. Again, he was a longtime special teams coordinator here at IMG, is not very happy. Had a great special teams play right there, and now you see Masai Haile-Mariam coming across the field, the head coach for St. Francis. He wants to be on this discussion as well. It looks like St. Francis is going to catch a break here, and that turnover's not going to count. I mean, it's not like you have a challenge. It's not like the pros or college, and there's no replay. But I'm telling you, I heard a whistle prior to that ball being dropped, and I think that's exactly why they're playing it this way. But we'll see what happens.
Well, hopefully this is probably the only questionable call that we'll see. As you can hear the Boo Birds running in, Scott, this is really a deciding factor maybe in this game in the second half.
No doubt. No doubt. And it looks like they shouldn't be booing. If they're St. Francis fans, they should be cheering. They caught a huge break here as that pooch kick will not count. Wow.
Ascenders will be re-kicking the kickoff.
Even the PA guy saying re-kicking the kickoff.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know why. We never really, the referees didn't explain it to us, but it sure felt like in real time there was a whistle prior to the ball dropping on the turf, and I think maybe that's why they're giving a re-kick here. Anyway, either way, big break for St. Francis. See if they can take advantage of it and see what Roman Levant is going to kick deeper. Maybe he tries it again. And he tries it again. This time Again, Neal. Whoa. This time he does have it, and he's handing it sarcastically to the IMG player, but now to the referee. It's a 1st and 10 at the 17 for St. Francis.
And, I mean, we might be scratching our head for the rest of the game, Scott. We don't know what was said or what was called, but nevertheless, we play to live on, and St. Francis takes over and right behind their own 20.
I don't think the Panthers staff appreciated him taking the fair catch because actually the return man was coming up under it. He could have easily taken it and actually run with it. And the coaches were kind of letting him know about it on the sideline. All right, 1st and 10. Van Buren and the offense from their own 17. See if they can get something going. Down 2 scores, 20-8. Give straight ahead to Nick Harris, who gets knocked up. He's pulling the pile a little bit as David Stone is in there, number 90. I think he's going to drag him for about 4 yards, so a pretty good pickup on 1st down for Nick Harris.
And this might be a bold statement, Scott, but I really think this is the most important possession for St. Francis. We saw 2 interceptions, and then we saw a sack the last time we saw Van Buren step in the pocket. This could be very important going down the line.
No question. It feels like a very big drive, and it's the first drive of the second half for the Panthers, down by 2 scores. Here's the snap, and again, the give to Harris. He's going to try the left side. He's got some space. He's got the 1st down, and then somebody's going to get taken down at the 33. He was already whistled dead at the 32-yard line prior to the ball popping out. So good run on 2nd down, and it's a 1st and 10 for the Panthers at their own 33-yard line they'll give them as they move the chain. So 2 good runs from Nick Harris out of the timeout.
And no matter what happens on this drive, Scott, we saw a turnover get taken away from IMG. So a little bit of slight momentum change here for the Panthers of St. Francis.
No question. He's got Michael Van Buren's got trips to his right. As he comes back to the line of scrimmage. Now he's going to step back on. Nick Harris stays in the game as a lone back. 1 receiver to his left. Man in motion now is Woodby, and the give straight ahead again to Harris, who's moving some defenders there as the Ascenders. Johnson Rubel was the one who took him down. The safety comes up. He had the pick 6 earlier, but not until after a gain of 7 yards. Or 6 yards, excuse me, 6 yards.
We're going to have a ref's timeout here. Looks like a IMG player is down.
Yeah, you got a player on his knee for IMG. Trying to get a number. See the St. Francis huddle. A little extra moment to talk it over for the 2nd and 4. Trainers are out for IMG. It's number 6 for IMG. Cam Leinhart, one of the big defensive linemen. Defensive tackle. He's all right, it looks like. Well, that's good news.
And usually, Scott, you would think that might be a big loss, but a team like IMG, they've got guys like him just ready to get on the field.
Yeah, they'll bring in Jaden Jackson, and they've already got David Stone in the game. I mean, it's crazy how many ends and tackles they can rotate in. All right, trips to the right of Van Buren on a 2nd and 6. Man in motion is Blake Woodby. And the give goes to the left side, and maybe 2 yards on the run from Darrell Robinson, number 11, who's checked in. And not much running room there.
Now you're going to have a 3rd and short. Let's see how the Panthers respond with a valuable opportunity behind midfield.
Yeah, it looks like they got to get to the 40, their own 43. So it's a 3rd and long 2, it looks like. It's almost a 43 and a half. So here is DeJuan Williams now in the game, the new back. Gives straight ahead to him, and he's going to get stacked up and lose yardage and nowhere to go. Jordan Hall, we said his name a bunch of times tonight, and we'll say it again, as he was in the backfield for a loss of 2 on the play, and they're going to have to send out the punting unit.
And the Panthers felt all 6'3", 225 of the Michigan State commit. Look at this right here. He blew that one up quick. And he has been using his strength and his size all evening long, Scott. It seems like he lives and pays rent in the backfield.
Yeah, Nick Harris actually was the ball carrier, and he's owning that real estate, that's for sure. So into punt now is Gadiah McDonald, and back once again it'll be Carnell Tate. Tate signals for the fair catch, which feels like a win for St. Francis at the 25-yard line. So that's where the Ascenders will take over with a 20-8 lead with 9:18 to go. And we're going to head down to the sidelines and bring in our sideline reporter, Shane Connick. Shane? right, we'll try to fix Sane's mic. Batteries may have frozen. Who knows at halftime, it's so cold down there. Jaden Bradford back under center, or out of the shotgun, I should say, for the first time to start this second half. IMG will have the football. 9:18 to go in this third quarter and a 12-point lead. Here's the give on the near side. Ooh, stacked up and not going anywhere. Jared Gibson, he took a big hit, and he let the Panthers know about it.
And he let the defender bounce off him there like a rubber ball, as he was the one standing tall at the end of the run. But like we said earlier, IMG, you got a 12-point lead. You're in their driver's seat now. Let's see how that affects their play calling here, right here in the middle of the field.
Yeah, 2-yard pickup. They got some good running backs. Jared Gibson, the lead back, number 22. He's got a lot of schools interested in him at this point. He's number 2 in the top 200 for the class of 2024. Back to pass, Bradford. He's got all kinds of time, and he just passes miscommunication. He's trying to hit Devin Hyatt. It was thrown well behind him. Luckily, that ball was not picked.
And that was very well close to being picked, as it was a miscommunication. Cameron Howard jumps on that one, and we thought that if he saw where he was going, he didn't even see the football. That could have been 6 the other way.
Yeah, no doubt. You just said, how when they call plays, we thought maybe they would just kind of ground and pound a little bit here. And instead they put it in the air, and you hear the crowd really trying to get behind this St. Francis Panthers team here. Number 1 team in the land, down 20-12, 8:34 to go here in the third quarter. Bradford's going to have trips to his right, one back in the backfield with him. Goes in motion. It is Evan Dickens. Back to pass under pressure, and he's going to throw it away. And that's an incompletion as Sam Green blew that play up. The USC Trojan in the future.
And Lincoln Riley's going to be really happy with someone like Sam Green, 6'2", 220, and IMG and Bradford felt all 220 of him on that play right there, Scott.
Let's get another look at it. Here's Green just blowing past his man. He pushed Antonio Tripp and just rolled right by him. Impressive pass rush there. So on to punt is Roman Levant. And what's so funny to think is that, Sam Green is a USC player, could play here in College Park someday in a conference game in the Big Ten in the future.
I didn't even think about that, Scott. Good call.
So the bizarro world of college football when everybody's in the same conference. So the Panthers will take over 1st and 10 at their own 43-yard line after a really good defensive stand. Now let's go back down to the sideline, and Shane Connick standing by. Shane?
Thanks, guys. We've been talking a lot today about the success that both these teams have put together this year. Well, for St. Francis, unbeaten coming into this one. These 20 points that it's already surrendered are the most the Panthers have given up in a game all season. As for IMG, it's won its last 4 games via the shutout, and now scoring the last 20 unanswered points, trying to put away this Panthers team that has not been beaten yet this year. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Shane. Nick Harris going nowhere in that first down run. Got it back to the line of scrimmage. So 2nd and 10 coming up as this IMG defense suddenly is really dominating the line of scrimmage.
And when you see how big these front 4 are in the trenches for IMG, you would think this is a college game at the University of Maryland. But no, this is a high school game, folks. These are just some big boys down in the trenches.
No doubt. Trips to the right of Van Buren. Now he's under pressure. Rolls to his right. Got his man. Caught it at the 45-40. Pushed out of bounds at the 38-yard line. That's a pickup from Makai Workman and a first down.
And you saw how Van Buren rolls outside of the pocket, and he's able to drop a little dunk right in the breadbasket there. Great play calling and efficiency there by the Panthers.
The Panthers crowd getting into it. Got something to cheer about as the team is now in IMG territory. Down 2 scores, 20-8. 7:41 to go here in the third quarter play. Michael Van Buren out of the shotgun. Takes the snap and the give to Robinson. He almost gets tackled, breaks a tackle. He's got the 35-30. Down the sideline, pushes out of bounds. Maybe the 29-yard line. So a big pickup from Darrell Robinson on first down. Gets another set of downs for the Panthers.
And, Scott, that's how you turn something into nothing. If you look here, Meinhardt right at the back right there, but he misses just from a second, and the speedster able to turn and get his team a fresh set of downs.
Nice run there from Darrell Robinson. He comes out of the game, though. Might get shaken up on that one. He's the Boston College commit, 6'1", 200-pound senior. Van Buren now with Harris and Williams next to him. Play action. Van Buren looking right. He's under pressure. He's going to throw it out of bounds. Incomplete. 2nd and 10 coming up.
And you love to see the poise by the junior Van Buren. Other quarterbacks may have tried to force something in there, but when you're down 2 scores and you're on the ropes, you really got to be protective of the football, and that's a great job there by Van Buren.
Yeah, he's been picked twice tonight. Of course, one of them was returned for a touchdown, so you got to imagine he's trying to be extra cautious here, especially, again, in an opportunity to score as they are in IMG territory, needing points, down by 12 with 7:28 to go. Van Buren out of the shotgun. Nick Harris, the lone back, throws it over the far side, caught. And that's Manning, and he's going to take it out quickly. Maybe got a yard, maybe not. Let's see where they mark it. Yeah, I think they give him 1 yard. So Ryan Manning on that screen didn't really go very far. And Buren again was under pressure, and boy, that was just blown up nicely there by Jarvis Lee, the left side cornerback.
3rd down and 9.
On the right side this time.
And 3rd and 9. This is a big play here for St. Francis. The #1 team down 2 scores. They're going to need this one. This might be the biggest play of the game for them so far.
All right, Darrell Robinson is back in the game. He's the lone back. Man in motion. Woodby scrambling. Van Buren to his right. Looking. He's going to throw it over here to Woodby. Does he catch it? And they're going to say no, he doesn't handle it. So incomplete as he tried to get Blake Woodby on the sideline. So a 3rd down and 9, or make that a 4th down and 9 coming up. And I was going to say a decision to be made, but it doesn't look like as much of a decision as the offense is still out on the field.
When you're down 2 scores in the 3rd quarter, you really got to assert a dominance and show no fear. But great defense there by the Ascenders, Scott, really covering up all the options for this St. Francis team. They didn't have anywhere to go, and now it's 4th and 9.
Yeah, this would be about a 40-yard field goal, and in these conditions would be a tough one for McDonald.
For Justin Tucker even, probably.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if anything's tough for Justin Tucker, but yeah, I mean, it's tough conditions, and really field goal didn't help you here down by 12. All right, out of the shotgun, Van Buren under pressure, throws it across the middle, incomplete. Boy, he had no time. Great pressure right up the gut as he was trying to get it to Mekhi Workman.
And you see IMG mixing up their looks. They dropped 4 in coverage last play. Now they send the pressure. Nowhere to go for Van Buren, and now up 2 scores. IMG really can use something. Look at the defense there on the replay. IMG really spreading out the field and making sure there's no easy yards. Now IMG takes over up 2 scores halfway through the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, IMG, the Ascenders from Bradenton, Florida, number 7 in the country. 6:34 to go with a 20-8 lead, and with the football, and Jaden Bradford out of the shotgun and gives it off to Dickens. Goes the right side, going nowhere. Actually losing yardage.
No gain on the play.
Evan Dickens stacked up for a loss of 2.
And now you got to think, is St. Francis going to load the box? Now down 2 scores. It's getting late in the ball game. Halfway through the 3rd quarter, you got to turn up something. And the heat hasn't been turned up since the 2nd quarter.
So this play again, Evan Dickens tries the right side, and quickly just shooting in there was the middle linebacker Coleman with the tackle. So this time out of the shotgun, Bradford's got to split the backfield now as he sends out receivers wide at his right. Back to pass, got time, got a man over here. Who else? Tate. He's going to come backwards. He's got some room. He's got the 30, 35, 40. Breaks the tackle 45, 50 into St. Francis territory down at the 43-yard line. Woo!
And Tate does what most of these Ohio State receivers are so well known for, yards after catch, and that looked like it might have been dead right there at the water after the play, but able to break it off for the biggest offensive play for IMG.
Yeah, usually you don't want a receiver running backwards, but when it's Carnell Tate, you know he's got an idea, and he did. Found the real estate and a big first down into St. Francis territory. Here's the give, and stacked up and pulled down after getting to the line of scrimmage was Evan Dickens by Carlton Smith, the linebacker, who just came barreling in there. So gain of maybe a half a yard. Let's look at that big play again. Here's Tate, goes backwards, then goes forward, and then gets that extra yardage after catch.
Makes 6 people miss, finally getting tackled by number 21 on the defense. That's Price for St. Francis, but man, that kid is special, Scott.
Yeah, KP Price brought him down finally, but boy, you're right. I mean, he's a fun guy to watch. He's just been so explosive out here tonight. Sam Green, I believe it's number 8 that is on the ground. That's obviously a concern for the Panthers. They're going to go to trainers out on the field. We see IMG's huddle there. They've got to feel pretty good about what they're doing. in St. Francis territory once again, and more importantly, keeping the St. Francis offense on the sideline.
And you really can't win a ball game unless you put more points than the other team. You would think that's very easy, but as you mentioned, St. Francis offense can't do nothing, and that defense has been giving up big play after big play, as you see IMG threatening now. And you love to see the big man get up for St. Francis.
Ooh, yeah, it was Sam Green, the defensive tackle, 6'2", 260-pound senior. He's going to USC. Made an announcement earlier this season. Matter of fact, did it doing an ESPN game. You might have remembered. It was a nationally TV game, so. Made the announcement at halftime. All right, here come the Ascenders out of the timeout. Bradford out of the shotgun.
And Bradford has been doing really well here in this one.
2nd and 9. Here's the handoff, and that is Gibson going nowhere quickly. He got no gain. Again, the St. Francis defense. This time it's Rochelle Vaughn's, the linebacker, number 14, coming in to make it a stop.
But you got to like the play calling here for your IMG. You can run some of this clock. You've got a 2-score lead. You're past the 50-yard line, so a punt here really doesn't hurt you. The clock is the only one that could be an issue for St. Francis here, as it's gone down below the 4-minute mark here.
So they're going to say that's actually a loss of 1. So 3rd and 10 coming up. Bradford and the Ascenders offense. Jarrett Gibson remains alone back. He's got trips to his left, one receiver to his right. Back to pass. Bradford looking. He's got pressure. He's going to get taken down by 3 players. Swallowed up. Swallowed up. I think Deshaun Womack got him first. Green was in there as well. Wow.
Let's just say it was a Panther pile on Bradford, and that's not a good thing.
No doubt. That was Neal. I'm sorry. It was 15 and 9. Really good pass rush there. Womack just kept pursuing. Neal had got him up on the inside. Man, oh man, everybody was there. Neal's fired up. Isaiah Neal, he's going to Pitt. Here comes Roman Levant. With 3:18 left here in this third quarter. 20-8 IMG on top. Here's the snap. Levant, the left-footed punt. It's going to be a short one, and circling under for the fair catch at the 24-yard line is where that will take place. Looks like that was Kyrie Benton with the fair catch, number 6. So Benton comes out, and we'll see if the Panthers offense get on track here. They need to. I mean, it's still a lot of time left. Still got a little bit of time here in the third and the fourth quarter. We're talking about 2 scores. At some point, you got to hit pay dirt.
You're going to have to get a score and a stop, followed by another score, as you mentioned. But we thought the first half flew by. It's already been almost 10 minutes in the third quarter, so time's ticking here for St. Francis, the number 1 team in the country.
No doubt. Michael Van Buren out of the shotgun. He's got trips to his right, 1 receiver to his left. Back to pass. He's going up downfield and then the far side of the field. Caught a back shoulder. Beautifully done to Ryan Manning. Woo.
And Manning really asserted himself there, made himself available, and what a dot there by Van Buren. We saw a couple back shoulder throws earlier. They're just so pretty to look at.
21-yard pickup on first down. So at the 45-yard line, under 3 minutes to go here in this third quarter. Van Buren with the pressure. He spins out of it. He's got to throw it away, and he just gets to the line of scrimmage incomplete. Woo.
But the wherewithal, imagine, Scott, he doesn't throw that ball away. That's a 15-yard sack. St. Francis cannot afford something like that, down 2 scores late in the third now, but now it's going to be 2nd and 10.
That was a big throwaway. There's the replay on the back shoulder throw to Manning, the senior, who is a Maryland commit. So Manning showing off in his eventual home.
Apparently he's the number 1 rated receiver in the state of Maryland, so why not enlist in the university?
They've got some good receivers. There's a run to Robinson, breaks 1 tackle, but going nowhere fast. He's getting stacked up. Boy, wrestled down by Gavin Nix. And that is going to be, Gabe Harris, 25. The Georgia commit brought him down, and that's going to be a no gain. So 2nd and 10 coming up. We got 3rd and 10 coming up.
Third down here, 3rd and long, a situation where you really want to try to avoid here for either team, but St. Francis really needs to get this 3rd down here and get some points on the board.
DeJuan Williams alone back, trips to his right. Van Buren takes a shotgun snap, looking right. Throws it over there, and it's caught. That's going to be just on the marker. Let's see where they mark the receiver. I think right at the line, and that should be a first down for Blake Woodby. They got him right at the 45. 10 yards. They're saying move the chain, so first down.
And that's a huge play from Woodby and company. You get a great pass, and now the chains are moving. If you're St. Francis, you got to see something go for the St. Francis Panthers.
Look at Van Buren, boy. He's got a gun, doesn't he? What a great catch by Woodby to come back for the ball, too. Here he is in 1st and 10. Got his man again. It's Woodby. He's cut down, though, in the middle of the field. Maybe a pickup of 2 yards, and that's it.
And that's just the only caveat when you go in the shotgun formation. You're taking yourself 5 yards out of the play, only getting 1 or 2 there, and now it's 2nd down and long.
Zachariah Fort, the free safety, though, came up and made a really good open field tackle. He had nowhere to go because Woodby can move. If he gets in the open field, they clocked him at 4.64.
About 90 seconds here. Let's see how St. Francis handles the clock.
Make that 4.46, excuse me. Van Buren ducks under and sacked, but he falls down, and that's going to be David Stone. 14th in the class of next year, 2024, on ESPN's list right now with a big sack.
I mean, he almost Ben Roethlisberger his way out of here. Check this one out right here. Takes a little duck, but he almost had it, and that's what happens when you're 6'4", 270. Your seismic force causes repercussions, and that's what we just saw right there.
No question. Although I don't know if he would have gotten at him because it looked like IMG had a few other defensive linemen that were ready to pounce on him. So there's a big 3rd down coming up. 3rd and 16. Line to get us the 35 of IMG's back to best. Van Buren's got his man Woodby, and he's got the first down.
So back-to-back 3rd downs. You see Van Buren to Woodby. That's the way to go for St. Francis, and it's worked perfectly.
Woodby with the reception.
Big time for Blake Woodby again, 4-4. If he could break a tackle, could be trouble. So 20 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter. St. Francis on the 32-yard line of IMG's. Here's the gift to Robinson. He's going to go nowhere. Maybe gets back to the original line of scrimmage. As Phil Picotti, the linebacker, makes the tackle. Cuts him down.
So we've seen 2 back-to-back big 3rd down plays here. Woodby and company getting the job done, but nevertheless, it's the end of the 3rd quarter, and St. Francis is still down 2.
So St. Francis got some work to do. They're in IMG territory, but they're down 2 scores as we get ready for the 4th quarter. The Ascenders trying to pull off the big upset tonight here in College Park, up 28. You're watching the National Game of the Week here on Flow Sports. Back here at Sekou Stadium, Scott Jackson and Marquez Davila as we are watching a good one here tonight, and maybe a big upset. Marquez is IMG Academy, 7th-rated team in the country, leading the top-ranked St. Francis Panthers, although it never feels like an upset if IMG wins, but this tonight obviously by numbers would be, especially on the road here, just, not far from the campus of St. Francis. All right, back to pass. Van Buren, big 3rd down, or 2nd down rather, steps up, and there's a flag behind the play. Might get a hold. We'll see what the call is. It's incomplete. So 3rd and 11 as it stands right now, but see what the call is from the official.
Holding offense, number 77. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Play 2nd down.
P.J. Wilkins on the hold.
Not the ideal way you want to start off the 4th quarter down 2 scores, Scott, but nevertheless, if you're head coach Billy Miller for this IMG team, you are in a perfect spot right now, and you can just secure this one if you can get a couple more stops, but that might be hard with St. Francis going down the field.
All right, so coming up, it's going to be a second down, and since they're taking the penalty, it's going to be second and 21. St. Francis needs to get it to the 22-yard line of IMG. We have a timeout on the field with an injury. We go down to the sidelines. Shane Connick is standing by. Shane, what's happening?
It's a cold day out here in College Park. Temperature in the upper 30s down here on the field. It is a chilly, chilly night. The heaters are all over the sidelines on both sides. But you know, IMG and St. Francis too both know about these kinds of temperatures. Both teams playing a real national schedule, especially IMG, but that season coming to an end here, and as for the Ascenders, just rolling over them in that third quarter. A lot more football left, though, the St. Francis team. Like talked about earlier with the dominance they presented this year, a lot of football left to be played. Don't miss these last 12 minutes on Flow Football.
All right, thank you, Shane. Ellis Robinson, the fourth, was the injured Ascender. He's walking off the field on his own. He had the first interception of the night for the Ascenders. Of course, later on, it was Johnson Rubel that had the one that went for the touchdown. Of unofficially, we're going to call it 98 yards. All right. Van Buren, it is second and 21 for St. Francis at the 43-yard line of IMG's. They need to get to the 22 for the first down, but the second down play here after the hold on Wilkins. Van Buren's got two backs, one on each side, two receivers to his right. Back to pass, got a little bit of duress, but throws it into a lot of coverage, incomplete. Woo! But we're going to get a flag. I think we're going to get a PI as DeJuan Williams was the intended receiver.
And really clogged up the lane on that one. Let's see what the call is here from the referee.
It's a PI on IMG. We'll see who they call it on, what number.
Pass interference, defense, 15-yard penalty, replay, second half.
Well, I guess they're saying pick one because there's about three defenders there. I mean, he really threw it into coverage but got away with it. And, again, 15-yard penalty, so suddenly a big break there, a big chunk play, if you will, for St. Francis.
And he's got to be careful with that location Van Buren does. That was well behind his receiver and almost intended for number 33 for IMG. That's Phil Picotti, like you mentioned. He's been pretty active here in the second half.
No doubt. Now the injured player, that's Mpemba, Samuel Mpemba, who was on the coverage and is the player getting up slowly, walking himself off the field. That's a good sign, but he was back in coverage, the defensive end, and dropped back. It helped kind of clog up that play. So
but the pass interference, you get a fresh set of downs, you get the penalty yardage. That is something that you can't keep giving away if you're IMG in a two-score game like this. With the team on the ropes, you really got to be able to execute here and make sure that you put your game plan to use here in the fourth quarter.
It's a second. It's actually a 15-yard penalty downstate, so it's not an automatic first down. So it's a second, and now that'll be 6 because it was a second and 21. So not an automatic first down in the high school level.
My mistake on that one.
Yeah, bigger yardage, but either way, a big break for St. Francis because, again, second and 6 is obviously a lot better than a third and 21, which is what they were staring at there. So 11:50 here to go in this fourth quarter. Again, a 20-8 IMG lead. Michael Van Buren and this Panthers team's got some work to do. He's trying to get the snap off before the play clock. Just does. He's going to roll to his right, looking. He's got pressure. He's going to have to throw it out here and incomplete. Trying to get it to Woodby, but there were a lot of Ascender defenders out there in coverage.
A lot, more like 4, because I saw 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 white jerseys in the vicinity. So Van Buren does the right thing, rolls outside of the pocket and gets rid of it. Doesn't take a sack or throw and force a pass in there, Scott.
So 3rd and 6, and again, at this point in the game, you got to think this is 4-down territory for the Panthers.
Non-negotiable here for St. Francis. Number 1 team in the land in trouble.
Can't take a negative play here either. DeJuan Williams is a lone back. He's got trips to his right. Van Buren out of the shotgun. Back to pass. And he's going to throw it the far side of the field. It's caught, and it's a first down. Still on his feet. And Benton still on his feet, gets to the 9-yard line. Benton did a tightrope there before Jordan Hall could bring him down. Wow, what a play by Kyrie Benton.
How many times have we seen this St. Francis team connect on 3rd down? 3 times already in the second half, Scott. And we're going to have a timeout on the field. Looks like 2 players injured, 1 for each team.
Yeah, it's Piscotti and Benton, who, wow, he just tight-roped that thing, got the first down, kept going. And Picotti kind of ran in his little friendly fire. I think he hit his teammate. when he was going in for the tackle. So Bacotti's down, Benton's down. Benton looks like it's a lower extremity. Bacotti's going to get up. Phil Bacotti is coming in there for the cleanup, and I think he kind of got into one of his own guys. Now they're just stretching out.
And you would think, Scott, in a game like this, the #1 team in the country, they're not going to go away easy. They get 3 consecutive third downs in a row, now are pushing towards the field. They really need a score here, and in pay dirt would be huge, especially with IMG still up 20-8.
Yeah, it's been an exciting one here at CQ Stadium, but we still got a lot of time left. I mean, there's 11:34 to go. Panthers knocking on the door now. Is good to see Benton get up. He's kind of walking it off a little bit. Almost a cramp. It almost looks like he's cramping the way he's walking. But boy, what an amazing move! The tightrope that sideline, made sure he got the first down, and then able to get it to the 10-yard line where it's going to be a 1st and goal coming up for St. Francis.
Talked about earlier how Van Buren, a dual threat quarterback, he loves to share the football, and we've seen that highly on display all night long, Scott.
No doubt. He's really spread it around, shared the wealth, if you will, to all these talented Panther receivers here tonight. So 1st and goal to goal. The referees blow the whistle coming out of the huddle. Clock restarts, so 11:30 and the clock is moving here in this 4th quarter of play. Needless to say, an important drive here for the Panthers, and Michael Van Buren, the quarterback, out of the shotgun. Clapped his hands, kind of faking the snap, now looking to the sideline. Nick Harris is back, and now coach is calling a timeout and not very happy.
He ran
had
down
to get it. The play clock once again was an issue, so you saw Coach Masai Haile Merriam run down, just screaming, asking for that timeout, and he got it.
You want to talk about some of these players 40 times. You should have clocked Coach on that one. He ran all the way down, and you could not afford any loss of yardage after 2 big plays. Yeah, Masai Haile Merriam, 16-1 as head coach. He was out there doing some line sprints or something. He got that timeout, and well earned.
Yeah, he's been in the school for 11 seasons, and boy, he was very, very frustrated by that. And I don't know if they didn't start the play clock.
I don't think it reset.
I don't think it reset. Because you're coming out of a timeout, or they just lost track of it.
Yeah.
Because you're coming out of a timeout, that should not happen, because we were coming out of the injury timeouts, and they got to burn a timeout. That could be a big deal later. We got to keep our eye on that. Burn a timeout early here in this 4th quarter, down a couple scores. You just hope that isn't one of the situations where the Panthers are needing to preserve clock late. First things first, they got to get in the end zone here. And as they switch sides, they switch receivers. Manning goes to the far side by himself. You got trips here to the left of Van Buren. And one back to his left is Nick Harris. Under pressure, he breaks away from it somehow. Stays on his feet, breaks the tackle, dives for the end zone. Touchdown, Michael Van Buren. And the Panthers are back in business.
What a play there by Van Buren. Shades of Justin Fields as he was able to escape the pressure, and really, really good execution there by the Panthers, making it count. 3 big third downs, and they get in for 6, Scott.
Wow. So a developing situation here, 20-14 as St. Francis has cut the deficit back to 6. What an incredible run. You thought he was down 2 or 3 times there. That shows that speed that he has. Here he is breaking away from 2 defenders, 3 defenders, breaks the arm tackle, dives in for the score, and they're going to go for 2. So Michael Van Buren and the offense stays out there. They're going for 2, and once again, they'll have Isaiah Williams in there as a fullback. He scored the last 2-point play, and Terrell Robinson's the other back. Straight give to Robinson. Is he going to get there? He's still pushing. He might get there. And I think he did. Yes, the signal says 2-point conversion. Good. So just like that, it is a 20-16 game.
We got ourselves a ball game, but this drive does not happen, Scott, without those 3 big third downs in that drive. Back to back to back, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 9, and they had a 3rd and 11, and they were able to get all 3 of those and put it into 6. That's got to feel good, especially as your #1 team in the country down. Now you just got to get a stop.
So IMG's lead has been cut down to just 6. Or make that 4, to 4. It's 20-16 as I try to do my math. It's a 4-point ball game. And you see Isaiah Williams trying to get the crowd fired up. He likes playing offense when he gets a chance.
And you really just got to be content if you are St. Francis. You're down, but the game is not over yet. You got to get a stop here. And this IMG offense has kind of been stopping themselves. A couple 3-and-outs here, a couple 3-and-outs there. I mean, this could be anyone's ball game. We still got plenty of time left.
No doubt. Yeah, IMG coming out with 11:03 to go. We'll see what St. Francis, how they handle this kickoff. This should be interesting.
We've pretty much seen everything. Pooch kicks, knuckleballs, touchbacks. This will be interesting to see right here.
No doubt. Brandon Thomas. But now they're moving the tee over to this side. Sorry, that's 81. Tyler Stewart. What's the penalty for? We're going to delay a game on a kickoff?
I've never seen that.
I think we are. I think the referees are going to get false start, actually.
I
think when he moved the ball, the tee, they called it a false start. So 5 yards back. This could really help IMG here.
I mean, still anyone's ball game. IMG with a 4-point lead, but the St. Francis Panthers really showing why they are the #1 team in all the land at the high school level. They have not quit after all we've seen thus far. Only down 4, and there's 11 minutes to go in the fourth.
Here comes the kick. Straight ahead kick. It kind of wobbles towards the sideline. That's going to go out of bounds. That's going to be a flag. Oh, wow. IMG's going to get great field position here.
And we just talked about how one team beating themselves. You can't afford a penalty of that stature here this late in the game.
Yeah, Tyler Stewart could not keep that in bounds. That's a big situation for IMG is going to have a great field position. And obviously they got some time to kill here, and they'd obviously like to drive it down and score a touchdown and end any hope perhaps for St. Francis, but still a lot of time left. So they'll start at their own 40 with 11:03 to go. So 11:03 to go, and Jaden Bradford out of the shotgun. You hear them trying to get the crowd into it here for the St. Francis faithful. Evan Dickens is the IMG back. He's a Coastal Carolina commit. Here's the snap. Bradford's going to pass. Throws it over the far side of Watkins. Breaks a tackle, and he gets taken out of bounds around the 45-yard line. So a pickup of 5 on first down. It's a quick, safe pass.
And we're going to have a timeout as an injury for St. Francis on the sidelines.
Yeah, I think that was the tackler. See who it is. But, boy, that was quick hitter by IMG. You know, he thought maybe, hey, they're just going to run the ball between the tackles. Maybe be careful here. No, they were aggressive here. Let's get another look at it. It is a safe pass, and Watkins really does all the work himself. Good blocking out there. And then it's Coleman. Simon Coleman, I think, came up, kind of twisted his knee. It looks like on the left side. He's okay, hopefully. But, boy, it's a tough break. Your middle linebacker, where you need to stop a team and get the ball back.
And you really got to ask yourself, what if? What if St. Francis didn't get those 2 penalties on the kickoff? Maybe the ball's at the 20 as opposed to the 40. And we've seen IMG capitalize on multiple opportunities that St. Francis has given them via penalty.
Well, look, St. Francis gave them 6 too, right? The two interceptions. One interception cost them points. The other one, obviously, not only cost you points, but it goes the other direction. It's a huge swing in this game, and only down by 4 right now. And that's a good sight as Simon Coleman is walking across the field. He's kind of jogging on his own right now.
I mean, we really have to keep in mind, Scott, some of these injuries may be minimal, but that temperature adds 100% more factor into it.
All right, the timeout over. 10:50 to go in this one. 2nd and 5 as Jaden Bradford is out of the shotgun. Evan Dickens remains alone back. He's got 2 receivers to his right. And there's the give to Dickens. Big hole, 50, 45, 40. Still on his feet, 35. Pushing down, taken down to the 31-yard line. What a run. 24-yard pickup on second down.
And Evan Dickens, the senior Coastal Carolina commit, really making his carries worth something here. Hits the hole, gets to the second level, as we see right here on the replay. Great recognition there, and he was able to hit that hole with a great speed.
Excellent blocking as well to open that hole. I mean, that was a big hole that he ran through.
And now, don't look now, Scott, but IMG threatening here. A score could be detrimental, although a lot of time left, but it could not help the chances of the number one team, St. Francis.
Rochelle Vaughns went off the field. He lost his helmet on that play, so he's got to go out for a play. Dickens play action there, but taken down is Bradford. At the sack is Sam Green. Who else? He's loving it. Sam, was it Isaiah Neal in there as well? Isaiah Neal was the one with the sack, not Green. Those 8 and 9s, these guys get it tucked up like that. A little tough to see up here.
As you can see here, pushes him into his own offensive lineman. He had no chance. Bradford does the smart thing, goes down, and 10 minutes left.
Loses 8 yards in the play, though, thanks to Isaiah Neal. So 2nd and 18. Dickens the lone back, and it is give to Dickens. He's going to run through one tackle and get stacked up in the line of scrimmage. Woo! And that one was Sam Green. Came up and popped him.
Shot out of a cannon. Green.
Actually, I think that was Farouk who came up from the safety position. Yeah, that was Farouk. Drazy Farouk comes up number 5 right here. Buries it. What a great open field tackle.
And you can see Green on the ground clapping when he was on the ground, knowing that Farouk made a great tackle there.
He fooled us because he was clapping. We thought it was his tackle. So that's 3rd and 19 coming up now. So this Panther defense has responded very well after the big run. Let's see if they can get themselves off the field here. Trips to the right of Bradford. Again, the lone back is Dickens, and we got a whistle. I think we got a timeout. IMG is going to burn a timeout.
And Billy Miller.
1 second left on the play clock, so smart play by Billy Miller there to see that. With 9:08 to go here in regulation, and it is a 4-point game. We're going to take a timeout. It's the national game of the week. Stick with us. We got a fantastic finish here on Flow Sports. Third and 19 coming up for IMG Academy, hanging on to a 4-point lead with 9 minutes and 8 seconds to go here in the 4th quarter. Jaden Bradford out of the shotgun. He's got time. He's looking, throwing up deep. He's got his man, and he's caught, and he's going to walk in for another touchdown, and it's Cornell Tate, the Ohio State commit with his 2nd TD of the night.
And IMG really capitalizing, what, again, on 3rd down, 3rd and 19, and they find the Ohio State commit Tate for reservations for 6. And that was beautiful there. You'll love to see it.
IMG answers the St. Francis score with another Tate touchdown for Braden. Here is great Bradford, great throw, and then Tate just splits the defense. He is so dangerous when he gets the ball in his hands.
I mean, he must know his fellow Buckeyes are in the vicinity because he has been going off all night long, Scott.
No question. What a great throw by Bradford to Tate for the 2nd time tonight, and now we're going to get whistles. Not sure why, but I don't see any flags in the field.
Flag on the field.
No, there is a flag on the field. Well, ball start on IMG could be important.
Well, if you kick the extra point or go for 2, it'll still be a 2-score game,
sure,
nevertheless. So you really can be a little bit. You can be open with this play call. It looks like they're just going to kick the 1 and take this.
Sure. And Levant kicks it up, and he gets it. So 3 of 4 in his PATs tonight for the future Maryland Terrapin at his future home stadium. Makes it a 27-16 game, and now you got to look at the clock and the scoreboard and say 9:08 to go. Marquez, is it enough time for St. Francis to get the 2 scores? And obviously we need a score and a stop and then another score.
Well, the one thing they can't do, Scott, is go out and throw the ball 3 times in a row. Your defense just played a huge chunk of the fourth quarter, and you can't afford to go back on the defensive end that quickly, or that will play right into the hands of IMG. On the other end, St. Francis catches a break there. They give up this fourth quarter touchdown. But, ladies and gentlemen, remember, IMG had the ball almost at the 20 after a kick call that we don't know exactly what went down. IMG could very well be up 3 scores if it wasn't for that re-kick.
That's true. That was a weird sequence. And again, I think it was the early whistle is what they were saved by the bell, so to speak, why that didn't count. But you're right. I mean, the IMG is not, like, sulked about it. They just kept playing, which is good. And now they have the lead once again back to 2 scores at 27-16. So 9:08 or 9:01 to go. Roman Levant getting ready to kick it off to St. Francis. The Panthers' undefeated season on the line right now. They're taking a standing 8 count. Good kick by Levant through the end zone. Kid's got a lot of talent.
And
see why the Terps like him.
You love to see it because now they have to go 80 yards down the field, and the pressure is on them, down 11 points in the fourth quarter with the undefeated season and the #1 ranking at stake.
See what Michael Van Buren and his offense can do coming out of this. See if they can answer the call. They really have to, as IMG was able to answer after St. Francis scored. So 9:01 to go. Looks like Darrell Robinson will be the back to the right of Van Buren. He's got trips to his right. He's got a receiver here on the near side as well. Out of the shotgun. Play action. They whips it out the side. Oh, incomplete. Behind the line of scrimmage. Woo. That was a little dangerous, wasn't it? As Ryan Manning couldn't get to it. He really whipped that thing, kind of sidearm.
I mean, really can't find anything positive with that play right there, because if it's 1 or 2 yards back, that's a scoop and score for IMG, who would have scored a touchdown in less than 90 seconds there, back to back. So St. Francis catches a break.
They're down 8:58 to go. Trips now on the left side as they flip the formation here on the near side. Back to passes Van Buren. He's under pressure. Rolling to his right. He's got to get rid of it, and it's going to be incomplete. Just throws it away. Ryan Manning was the closest receiver, but he never had a chance at it.
And it sounds like St. Francis doing exactly what I said they shouldn't do, passing it twice in a row. If they pass it one more time, it's obviously 4-down territory, but your defense will have to go right back out on the field.
Yeah, they have not had much, and there's been pressure on Van Buren on both of his dropbacks, and we've talked a lot tonight about these talented defensive lines, in particular this one here on IMG really getting after the quarterback as you see some movement on the line. Back to pass Van Buren over the middle, and it's tipped away. Good defense there. Defender got his hand on it, and there was nowhere to go for Van Buren, so it's a 4th down coming up.
And they do exactly what I said. Back-to-back-to-back passes, and what looks like Winnie Watkins here,
Winnie
number
Watkins.
5, almost one-hands it, makes to the replay in the booth. What an absolute defensive stop there. And just like that, 3 pass plays, 3 downs, and now they have to punt on 4th, down 11 points.
Yeah, and with 8:47 to go, I mean, will you get the ball 2 more times? I don't know. I mean, it's tough, but I mean, 4th, you don't have a lot of 4th and 10 with this defense. They're just pinning their ears back and coming after Van Buren right now. It's hunting season for these pass rushers, and they have to burn another timeout to the Panthers. Oh, boy. Talking about making things even more challenging on yourself.
I mean, as the #1 team in the land, down 11 here in the 4th, you throw it 3 times in a row, and it doesn't really work out. So now IMG gets right back on the offensive side. They're going to get great field position, barring a muffed punt or a bad punt. And now, I mean, they can really just take their foot off the gas, but that's not the IMG way. We might see some more points for this Ascensor team.
Yeah, and this St. Francis, this is their 2nd timeout, so they have 1 timeout left. So I'm looking at the scoreboard to make sure that is correct. Yes, that is correct. So they've got 1 timeout left. IMG, not that they really need them, has 2 left. at this point. And back to receive, by the way, is the most dangerous guy on the field, at Carnell Tate.
I mean, it's a little bit early, but he has definitely shown why he should be the player of the game later on.
No doubt. Kadia McDonald getting ready to punt it away. Snaps there. Punt is away. It's kind of a pooch. Tate says get away from it. The ball rolls. Good bounce for St. Francis there. Still rolling, and they're going to down it at the 37-yard line. So IMG will take over their own 37, but a 11-point lead with just 8:36 to go here. Certainly the Ascenders are in a pretty good situation right here.
I mean, to say the least, the best part of that possession there by St. Francis was that punt on 4th down. That really took a great bounce. Landed at the 48 all the way down to about the 36 now. But IMG, since the second half began, they have really been in unison and firing on all cylinders on the offensive end.
So IMG out of the sideline comes out with the new running back, Jarrett Gibson, behind Jaden Bradford. See if they try to work some clock here. And the give to Gibson. There's a flag, though, immediately, and then there's a run gain about 2 yards. We'll wait and see what the call is. The flag was a really fast flag, wasn't it? Maybe a false start. So with 8:31 to go, the clock stops as we wait for the official.
Don't worry about it.
He's not worried about something.
They haven't even made the call yet, and they're going backwards. So you know it's on IMG.
Yeah, I believe it's false start on IMG.
There's no foul.
Or no foul, okay.
There's no foul for illegal formation.
It was a really quick flag, so illegal formation initially was called, but it's not. So it's either way, it is a second down play. I think maybe a yard gain there, so we'll call it 2nd and 9, although it looks like on the scoreboard it's 2nd and 10. I thought Gibson got at least a yard there.
That's why we're in the booth making the call, not on the line.
Oh, high snap, and it's blown up, and Gibson somehow holds on to it. Boy, I don't think Bradford was ready for the snap. It hit him in the face mask. And somehow he got it to Gibson, but boy, that play's going nowhere in a hurry.
I just don't know how
Smith blew it up.
I don't understand how he hung on to that football, Scott. He got hit from all angles on that one. It just collapsed. The Panthers' defensive line really got to him quickly, and now third and long.
3rd and 13 officially for IMG Academy. I don't know. If you ask me, I would throw it to the number 17, but I'm not calling plays for him. So out of the huddle, speaking of 17, he's on the far side of the field to the left of Bradford with another receiver. Now man in motion is Dickens. Back to pass. It's a handoff to Gibson. He's got a lot of room. First down, and then to 50, 40, 35, 30. Still on his feet. Cuts back. He's taken down about the 18-yard line by Isaiah Neal, the defensive tackle pursuing. They're going to give him the 16-yard line. What a big run on a 3rd and 13. Wow.
I just feel like the 3rd down conversions have been so crucial for both teams. And that big play right there, not only is that in the red zone now, look at the replay here as he goes all the way and able to hit that hole very fast. Look at the diversion there, but one thing to keep in mind, Scott, now they got a fresh set of downs with only one timeout. They could realistically take 2 to 3 minutes off the clock and not even score here.
A 50-yard run in the end. Actually making a 49-yard run as they've now put the ball back at the 17-yard line. So a 49-yard run.
Shades of Antonio Gibson there.
Terrific run for Jarrett Gibson. And when needed. This time they throw it to Watkins. He's got some space. Makes one man miss. Still on his feet. He's going to dive down to about the 14-yard line. So a pickup of about 3 yards on first down. And Watkins is still on the ground. He hit the ground hard.
And it looks like he might just have a stinger or something of that sort. But like I said, it's really cold out there, Scott. And the only caveat with that is that stops the clock momentarily. I mean, he was tackled inbounds, but you want that clock to be your friend if you're IMG Academy, and they are threatening here late in this one.
Well, I mean, a touchdown here, it's good night, party's over, drive back safely at that point for the Panthers. So 6:30, clock has been restarted and ticking left in this ball game. It is a 11-point lead for IMG, 27-16, and the football deep in St. Francis territory at the 14-yard line with a 2nd down and 7 to go after the 3-yard game to Watkins. Bradford out of the shotgun. Gibson's alone back, and it's a quick, who else? Tate on the end and around, but he gets stood up for the first time tonight and thrown down, and that's going to actually be a loss of 3.
And I'm interested to see what IMG and head coach Billy Miller calls here with 3rd down. If I'm Bradford, I'm not snapping that ball until there's 1 second left on the play clock. Very early in the play clock on that last play, but that clock keeps on ticking down. Now we're below 6 minutes in the 4th quarter. A 1st down, really like your chances if you're IMG, but let's see the play call by the Ascensors.
Yeah, Cornell Tate on the end and around. It seems like the guy you want to get the ball in the hands of, but well done, obviously, by the defensive line of the Panthers. They were ready for it. All right, out of the huddle, Jaden Bradford is going to be in the shotgun again. Jarrett Gibson to his left. Got 2 receivers to his left. His tight end is now in motion. Riley Williams back to pass. Looking under pressure now. Slips 1 tackle. Now runs into some trouble. Gets hit hard at the 20-yard line. That's going to be way short of the 1st down. So 4th down coming up.
But you're not going to punt it in this field position. We might see a field goal attempt or maybe just a 4th down. Yeah.
It's 3rd and, so you're talking about like a 37-yard attempt from here, maybe 38, depending on where the ball ends up getting spotted.
And Bradford took a huge hit. He's signaling for some help.
Yeah, I think he at least got the air knocked out of him because he took it pretty hard.
But the good thing is they can have that clock run now.
Use one of those timeouts when it gets down to 1 if they want. Yeah, and at that point, you're looking at 4.5. Yeah, he's limping.
They're putting the field goal unit on.
Yeah, Bradford definitely took the worst of that one. He's having a hard time getting off the field. Hate to see that. Kid's had a heck of a game. So here you go. From they're going to mark it at the 29, so it'll be a 39-yard field goal coming up for Roman Levant, and we got a timeout on the field. I think
they had to call that one, Scott, or that would have been a delay of game, and that would have pushed them back 5 more yards. You don't want that in the field goal, especially with these conditions. But
the wind appears to be behind Levant's back. It looks like if you look at the flags down to the right of the goalpost that he's kicking at, the goalpost that he's kicking towards, you see the flag moving up. Let's get down on the field and see what Shane Connick has for us. Shane?
Thanks, guys. You know, we've been talking about the point differential today. I talked about that earlier. Now, IMG, has scored more than 40 points in each of its 7 wins this year. Meaning, if St. Francis can keep the score where it is right now, it'll be the lowest point total in any of the Ascenders' 7 or becoming 8 wins this year, as St. Francis holding them to just 27 thus far tonight. Back to you guys.
Although I think the Ascenders will take it. Being held under the point total tonight as long as they get the W. All right,
so that is a win.
Yeah, exactly. The flag on the field. Now this is going to go on St. Francis. So what was a 39-yard field goal is going to be moved up 5 yards. It's going to be a 34-yard attempt perhaps. And now let's see what the Ascenders do. They're bringing the special teams over here. Maybe they'll break the huddle with the offense.
And you really can't do anything here if you are IMG. Like I said, pretty much dominating this whole 4th quarter.
Actually, I think it's going against IMG. I don't know. What the officials at first started moving in one direction, waiting for the call here.
Well, they don't talk to us, so we definitely wouldn't know. As we've seen a couple calls earlier today, we just were scratching our heads.
Now it looks like they're about to go backwards, so that's going to probably knock it out of Levant's range, maybe. It's a 5-yard penalty for a false start. So now you're talking about a 44-yard field goal maybe at this point. Or a 4th and 24. Pick your poison. The problem is if you kick the longer field goal and it's low, it's blocked, it goes the other way for a quick score for St. Francis, then suddenly you feel like you've put them right back in the ball game. So maybe that's the thought process here. Again, from a guy who was a special teams coach for a long time and played special teams, and Billy Miller.
Well, on the other hand there, Scott, we just saw with the St. Francis offense.
IMG just burned a timeout.
The second half.
And you got to use them.
Taking a look at the IMG huddle. Be interested to see how they come out of this.
As I said before the timeout was taken, this St. Francis team, we just saw what they gave us on the offensive end. 3 passes, and just like that, less than 2 minutes back on the defense. So you really can't go out from that play calling because you're down so much so late. So it could be a same replay of what we saw earlier on that last possession.
Now, they send the field goal unit back out. Something to keep in mind is Levant can also punt. He's the punter as well. So maybe you do a pooch kick even if you set up in a field goal formation. But it looks like they're going to send the offense back out instead, because that is Jaden Bradford. I got to say, he's not moving the best. He just came out. He was really kind of limping with his jog. It was not the prettiest things I've seen today. So he's going to be out of the shotgun, it looks like. So it's 4th and 24. IMG's keeping the offense in the field. I guess they would rather just give St. Francis the ball in their territory and turn it over on downs than risk the blocked field goal or missed field goal.
I think that might be the smarter thing. But the thing is here, the clock is stopped. So they're going to have to get the play off before anything happens.
Bradford back to pass, throws it. Oh, boy, ball still on the ground. And that's a live ball picked up. Oh, and big tackle there as Neal gets cut down, or he could have been going for 6. Tapula, the center, makes what could have been a saving touchdown.
Let's watch this on the replay again, Scott. You really saw the pressure there, but Bradford didn't see the pressure, and the tackle there by the center saves a touchdown there. He's all the way gone. No one's catching him if that doesn't happen.
Santana Tapula with a big play there, but boy, what a risky move by IMG. I really thought they might just run it into the tackles and just let the clock move, but instead try to pass and almost pay for it.
It's a great angle there on the replay.
4:16 to go. Michael Van Buren out of the shotgun. He's got trips to his left, one running back in the game to his right, and a receiver to his right. St. Francis needs to score twice. 27-16. Van Buren's loaded up, deep shot. He's got Woodby. Oh, incomplete, and it's going to be a Manning. Incomplete, but it's a PI. Manning gets interfered with. It's a 15-yard penalty, of course, not the NFL. It's not a spot foul. So a 15-yard penalty.
Pass interference, defense, 15-yard penalty. The results, first down.
Ryan Manning had it on his hands. It's actually probably a smart penalty.
And if you're IMG, you don't give up the touchdown, but you take the 15 yards at this level. It's not the spot of the foul. He was definitely going to high-step it in there for 6 points, but as you said, Scott, that's the smarter play there because you can't get penalized too much, and now it's just like they got a first down off that.
Yeah, so they're at the 48-yard line of IMG. 4:10 to go here in the ball game. 27-16. IMG on top. Van Buren under pressure. Oh, just barely gets the line. Did he fumble? They got a flag on the field. We have a fumble football. We're waiting to see what the officials say. They're going to say he was down. David Stone. Wouldn't have mattered anyway because a face mask on the defense.
A personal foul, face mask, defense, 15 yards, first down.
Big penalty there. So 30 yards in penalties on the last 2 plays for IMG. Against IMG, I should say, for St. Francis. So St. Francis gets 30 yards in penalties.
The only thing here, Scott, is they're moving the ball down the field, but that clock keeps ticking. I mean, if they're taking this much time to score, for them to score again would have to take an insurmountable miracle.
Yeah, restarted, so it's under 4 minutes now. 3:55 to be exact and moving. Van Buren's got to hurry out of the shotgun. Back to pass, loading up, going to the far side, and incomplete. As another flag comes down. That one was to Kyrie Benton, was the intended receiver, and number 4, Desmond Ricks, was all over him.
I thought he did a good job. Maybe he didn't get his head all the way around. That might be the play call here. But again,
pass interference,
45 yards in penalties.
15-yard penalty. The results, the first down.
I know Christmas isn't for another month, but they just keep giving and giving. Here, IMG is on the other end.
Playing Secret Santa for the Panthers. 3:48 to go. The ball is now going to be on the 18-yard line. 1st and 10 for St. Francis. 3:48 to go. I mean, Billy Miller's got to be going crazy over there on the sidelines watching this happen.
Keep in mind, they only have 1 timeout apiece, so that's going to play an integral role.
Under pressure, Van Buren's just got to throw it away in the dirt, incomplete. Into the turf, the intended receiver is Kyrie Benton. With 3:44 to go, 2nd and 5. But that was smart on Van Buren's part. Nothing open, just ground it and live for another play and stop the clock.
I mean, both these junior quarterbacks really have ascended. In just tonight's game, you really see why they're being heavily recruited and heavily touted as a couple of the best quarterbacks in the country.
So Van Buren will have 3 receivers to his left here on the near side, 1 to his right, and the lone back to his right is Darrell Robinson on a 2nd and 10 for the 18. And again, needing 2 scores down by 11. Snap, throws to the slant, incomplete. Looked like a confusion there. Woodby was going the opposite direction. The ball was going.
And you can see Van Buren talking to his receivers, signaling, hey, that was supposed to be a dual slant. They both went the opposite direction, but nevertheless, I mean, the clock is stopped, but now it's 3rd and 10. So this is two-play territory for sure, Scott.
No question. You got to be 4 down and mode right now with 3:41 to go. And you'd like to stick this first score in quickly and preserve some time for your defense. And who knows, maybe you have to go squib kick. I mean, with just one timeout this late, or onside kick, I should say, this late.
A lot on the line here on these next 2 plays for St. Francis.
A lot of decisions to be made here, but they got to score first. Van Buren out of the shotgun. Again, trips to his left. Robbins to the low back to his left. Takes a snap. Under pressure, throws a slant again, incomplete. This time, I think he was trying to get Benton. Benton just kind of stopped it around, and then behind him was Manning.
I mean, this IMG defense has been very, very stout, to say the least. You can see all the white jerseys. It's like the snow covering the field up in Buffalo here this weekend.
No doubt. This could be ball game here. 4th and 10 coming up. So 4th and 10 coming up. 3:38 to go. They've got to convert. Do the Panthers here to keep hope alive. Down 27-16. IMG Academy trying to end the undefeated run. Back to pass. Van Buren on a 4th down. He's under pressure. He's not going to get it. Incomplete in the flat. No flags in the play, and IMG Academy celebrating.
As they should, Scott. This is their first win since 2016 in this battle. Almost half a decade, a little bit more than half a decade, since IMG was victorious over St. Francis.
They just got to not do anything crazy here with 3:33 to go, up by 11. Just one timeout left for St. Francis, and IMG will take over on downs at their own 18-yard line with this 11-point lead.
So we know the first play, the timeout's going to be burned, but then after that, we're looking at 2 first downs, and this one's over.
No question. And again, with 2 scores, I mean, unless it's a fumbled snap, although we have seen some weird snaps with IMG here tonight, so I'm not ruling out anything yet. Jaden Bradford out of the shotgun and gives it straight ahead to Gibson. He breaks, well, 1 tackle, but then gets taken down after a gain of 1 yard, but that's all you want to do is stay in bounds there. They're going to let the clock run. Panthers aren't going to take the timeout yet, so they let it run after this first down play.
If it was a 1-score game, maybe they take the timeout right away. 2-score game, the thought has to be different on the process.
No question. So 2nd and 9 coming up. And now you're going to really see IMG try to work that clock as much as they can. Play clock down to 22. They can take the next snap at around 2:43 left in the ball game. And they're really being deliberate as Bradford ran to the sideline, now comes back out. He's going to break the huddle with 10 on the clock. Just don't want to take a delay a game here, though, if you're IMG. They do have 1 timeout to burn if needed. 5 seconds left on the play clock. 3, and he gets the snap just in time, and he gives it to Gibson. Goes left, stays in bounds. No, we got flags everywhere. We might have a false start. Oh, big break for the Panthers here.
Definitely a false start on IMG.
And it is a false start on IMG, but 2:40 to go here in the game. So 2nd and 14 now coming up.
But the game plan doesn't change, Scott. They're still going to try to ground and pound. I mean, up 10 or up 11 here this late, you really can't afford a pass because your quarterback really is gingerly walking back to the huddle.
Yeah, no question. And I don't think you're going to see him running any zone reads anytime soon either, because he's not keeping it the way he's moving around. These are probably going to be straight gives. Clock's back to starting, though. 2:25 to go. And the give to Gibson. Oh, spins out of a tackle and gets back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe, yeah, just gets to the line of scrimmage. So 3rd down and 14 coming up. And now St. Francis, I believe, will take their last timeout. They do.
Womack on the tackle there.
2:12 to go. Last timeout burned by St. Francis here. 3rd down coming up. 3rd and 14. And again, IMG just running in the line of scrimmage at this point.
I'm trying to think here, Scott. Why try to run and maybe hurt another player? Why not just take a knee here, take the delay a game, and then kick it to take off even more time off the clock?
Yeah, you could. You could play that game as well. That's not a terrible idea. We'll see what they do. Or maybe just throw it to Tate, and he just breaks 20 tackles like he has tonight a few times and runs through the whole team and scores.
That is a reliable option as well.
That's another play option as well. Carnell Tate, who's had 2 touchdowns tonight, been terrific, the Ohio State commit.
I mean, we've seen shades of that in another level. Just 17's down there somewhere, just throw it up.
Exactly. So 2:12 to go. St. Francis obviously need to create a turnover here too. The other risk you have with these guys charging is just stripping the ball too, getting a quick, cheap touchdown on you.
Especially in the cold, it probably doesn't take much to pry that football out. And
so far, we only see IMG taken out of the shotgun. I'm trying to remember, have they gone under center tonight? I don't think they've gone under center.
They have not gone under center. We've seen pistol looks and loaded backfields, but no under center. And we might see that with some victory formation in the future as well.
Yeah, I mean, some teams are just not comfortable anymore. It seems crazy, just snapping it from under center, even in victory formation. You see it a lot at college and high school level.
Oh, it's all West Coast now.
It's wild that they can't even get under center for a victory formation. So, and we've seen some weird snaps here tonight. So, if that's your hope here, if you're St. Francis, with something crazy happening here. So, 3rd and 14, excuse me, with 2:12 to go. Here it is. Jaden Bradford out of the shotgun with Gibson to his right. Got a receiver motions Watkins. Watkins not going to go back the other direction. Straight give to Gibson. Tries the left side. And again, is going to get stacked up. Doesn't fumble, most importantly, and gets taken down to the clock. We'll move 40-second play clock. It hasn't started yet. Now it does. So about 1:22-ish by the time IMG will need to punt this ball or snap this ball.
And since they still have that one timeout, I think they'll let it go all the way down since their punter will have their heels on the line in the end zone. So that's smart play and great coaching by Billy Miller.
No question. Yeah, they can take it all the way down. I'm looking at the differential. Yeah, about 122 even if they want to and burn the timeout there. I'm trying to see where Miller's positioned if he's going to go ahead and chase the referee down. Yeah, he's saying hold it. He's putting his hands up on the sideline, telling them not to do it, and now he's going to yell timeout. Yeah, there you go. Well, now they're going to actually take the delay of game instead. They're not even going to burn the timeout.
As that's exactly what I predicted, but they didn't take a knee instead, so just a little different from that. But nevertheless, IMG, in a game of this stature, 7 versus 1, they really showed that they can hang out with anybody across the country, even the #1 team in all the land.
You think they take a safety here as opposed to kicking it?
Now, that is something that I've seen on other levels where they just waste time and go to the corner of the end zone. That could be something. I mean, it would make it a 9-point game.
Yeah, 27-16, but then you got to kick it to them. I mean, that might be more comfortable than kicking out of your own end zone where literally the receiver is at the 35-yard line. That's a quick touchdown potentially. We'll see what they do. As Roman Levant, the Maryland commit, it's a snap. Now he's going to punt it away. Left-footed punt. It's a low punt, and it's going to be fielded and muffed. Is it a loose ball? Was it touched by, well, it's covered up by the Panthers, fortunately. That's Benton, Kyrie Benton, that had a fall in it. That was not a smooth exchange.
And now if you're IMG right here, Scott, you can go cover deep. You can do 4 deep. There's not going to be any big plays given up here by IMG. Yeah, they might give up a score, but it's 2-score game, so IMG really is just waiting for the clock to hit triple zeros before upsetting, or not upsetting, but being victorious over the #1 team.
Yeah, again, on the rankings, I suppose it's an upset, but obviously of the stature of programs, it's, these two teams are pretty even footing in that regard. So here we go. Michael Van Buren out of the shotgun, trying to get a quick score here, down 27-16. He's got trips to his left, 1 back, and 1 receiver to his right. Need to score quickly. Although, look, IMG's up the line of scrimmage playing normal. They're not playing soft. Van Buren with pressure on him, throws it incomplete as he gets hit as he released it. Oh, he got drilled.
And let's hope he's okay. Van Buren able to get up gingerly, though. I mean, he has taken some big hits.
Yeah, he's a little dinged up. He's walking around. He's got some pain. I'll tell you what, I don't think IMG has a prevent defense. I mean, they just brought it out. I mean, they were base defense, and they just came after him.
They're playing to the whistle blows, Scott.
Yeah, the way they rushed the passer, they're not scared. I mean, they just blew that play up. All right, here we go. 2nd and 10 now for Van Buren from the 38-yard line. Down by 11, need a quick score. Here's a snap, pass rush, throws it, caught. Manning goes down with his knee, hits the ground at the 34. Now they got no timeouts. Clock's moving. It's 57, 56. Keeps moving. So here's a 3rd down and 6. Manning not being able to keep his feet and get out of bounds was a problem there. Here's the snap. Michael Van Buren under pressure. He's rolling to his right. Rolling. He's going to have to throw it. No, he gets sacked. He gets sacked by Jordan Hall, who's been really the defensive player of the game for these Ascenders.
And he's hitting a little gritty there. Hall and company doing the dirty work, and that might just do it here. It's going to be 4th and a quarter mile.
Yeah, it is 4th and basically back to Baltimore, it feels like, for the Panthers here. As the ball's going to be spotted way back at the 42-yard line. They've got to get to the 27, make it the 28. The clock's stopped momentarily with 29 seconds to go, but this is a 4th down coming up. And Michael Van Buren looks like he's coming out of the game. Or he's just coming to the sideline. No, that's it. They're taking him out of the ball game. So Van Buren's night is over. With 21 seconds left, and it's a 4th and 14. Back to passages, throwing it up for grabs, and it's going to be almost picked off. No, incomplete.
And Carnell Tate's looking like, bro, you just took away an interception from me. My stats are loaded. It could have been a game over.
Yeah, Carnell Tate had a chance there, but that was Mekhi Workman, I think, was the intended receiver over there. But whatever it was, that's going to do it. And you hear the fans cheering on what has been a terrific season for the Panthers.
I mean, let's put it like this. They're going to go 8-1 and still finish in the top 10 in the country. But on the other end, IMG wins a close, tight battle, 27-16, after winning a game last week, 96-0. That's nothing close, and now we might have some some tensions rising. I mean, these are a bunch of young student athletes here. It's a Friday night. Thanksgiving break is in a few days. I mean, there's a lot going on here on the field.
Yeah, right now, last scheduled game for both of the teams at this point. So refs trying to tell them to get off the field. Or excuse me, IMG's got one more. This is the last scheduled game for the Panthers. All right, refs trying to separate them. Really, with 12 seconds left at this point, I'd be interested to see if they even let them come out, take a knee.
You would hate to see anything happen because it's been such a great game from start to finish. So
it has been. I mean, again, two really good programs, nationally rated, national powers. We got Division I talent all over the place. IMG came on the road, got a big win tonight.
And now that we've got some downtime, I think it might be time to talk about who is a really great player for this IMG team on both sides of the ball. We'll start with offense, though.
I think Carnell Tate was your offensive player of the game, right? Hands down. I mean,
no questions asked.
Big play after big play from him, even as a punt returner tonight as well, a kick returner. And then for defensively, it's got to be Jordan Hall, the middle linebacker, the Michigan State commit. He was a monster. Here's the knee. Yeah, they are under center. That's good to see.
And
makes it easier, doesn't it? I think it does. Jaden Bradford is going to walk away, hand the referee the ball. Both teams are going to now do some handshaking, and that's going to do it. IMG doing some backflips and celebrating here in Maryland as they get a big win on the road. The Ascenders, 27-16 over St. Francis here tonight.
I mean, you're going all the way from Florida up to this chilly weather. They come in on the road with one loss and give a blemish to an unblemished team, that being the #1 team in all the land, the St. Francis Panthers. I mean, they don't have anything to hold their heads down about. Finished, like I said, 8-1, still going to be a top 5 team in the country, maybe top 10. But nevertheless, we saw a great game from both sides.
No doubt. They're celebrating with their fans, thanking them for making the trip. And again, St. Francis unable to get that perfect season here tonight as the IMG Academy Ascenders beat them here on the road up in College Park, Maryland, here at CQ Stadium. And big game here today, won by IMG. Tomorrow, the Terps will host Ohio State. As you look at some of the highlights from this game, it was a fun one to call. Had a lot of big plays. There's Carnell Tate, who'll be playing it in the Big Ten next year with the Buckeyes. Made a lot of big plays. There's the Van Buren slant. Such a big arm.
I mean, we saw a lot of bang-bang plays after a kind of sluggish start from both teams. Like I said, the weather has to play a factor, but nevertheless, IMG, they came, they saw, and they conquered, getting a huge road dub against the #1 team in the country.
Yeah, Michael Van Buren, so the great score, the dive, the end zone there, and then here was Jaden Bradford to who else? Carnell Tate taking it to the house. And there was the big run for Jarrett Gibson that helped IMG salt this thing away tonight as they get a double-digit win on the road over St. Francis Academy. As you said, their lone blemish of the season comes in the hands of IMG, the Ascenders.
Definitely the toughest game that they've placed. I mean, you know, they played a team in Toronto, they played Bishop Sycamore, they played a bunch of teams that we don't know anything about. But this team, we knew St. Francis was a top powerhouse team in the country with a load of talent on the offensive defensive side. Both teams should be very happy. They fought hard, and at the end of the day, there has to be a winner and a runner-up, and that winner today, IMG Academy.